You are listening to Shoot and Scoot, the Flames of War Team Yankee Federation Arm and Great War podcast that tries to make sense of the weird and wonderful world of 15mm wargaming with our tongues firmly in our cheeks, our pants as flat to the ground, and our dice, more often than not, failing to shoot and scoot every episode. We invite you to join us on the many hobby misadventures on Facebook and on the blog at breakthroughassault.co.uk, and to shop online at Battlefield Hobbies because Hammy is selling board games. But his own
you?
board games.
Oh, okay.
Not through the shop. He's selling. Yeah, I realised that after I wrote it. It's not very clear.
Yep.
If nice dice are your vice, then be sure to check out Dice of War, our dice sponsor here at Shoot and Scoot. And if you need bunkers to bust or autobahns to go too fast on, then also head over to frontlineterrain.square.site, our awesome terrain sponsor.
Terrain.
If you'd like to contribute to this continued failed cross-check of a podcast, you can now also become a patron supporter by following the link of the Breakthrough Assault blog. Pay £1 a month for your chance to also become internet famous. I'm Eddie Fez Turner, broadcasting from somewhere in the south of England, and I'm joined by my co-host, Duncan, I'm too sexy for my voice, Gosling.
Oh my god, not Right Said Fred again.
And Lee, gameless glue of the podcast, Parnell.
Can I be the gameful but not gluey person of the podcast? That'd be much better.
Hold on, you
Gamelessly employed.
You didn't have any games, but I'm like apparently Right Said Fred's fascist cousin. Oh great, okay.
Welcome to episode 98, the one where we dissolve NATO. Lee, what are we talking about tonight?
We just suddenly go like Vatnik on this or something. Tonight we'll be talking about what we've been internet famous. We're going to say hello to our new patrons. We got some new patrons. Woohoo! It's about what we've been painting or assembling in most of our cases in Faces Bases. Talk about what we've been playing in News in the Front. Except for I won't. I'll just be sitting there solemnly,
rocking, staring at the wall.
Yeah. We'll then be looking at the new NATO Forces book. Then we'll look at events, and then we'll shoot and scoot. So, Duncan, what have you been painting and or assembling this week?
I have been painting or assembling, Lee, in my finest receipt pronunciation BBC voice. I've been doing some Dark Angels. So
yes, you have, haven't you?
Yes, some of the wonderfully entitled Interemptors and the Inner Circle Knight Cenobium, which must got to be the most ostentatious
Interemptor.
Interemptor, yeah.
Interemptor.
An Interemptor, yes.
Okay.
What?
Is that like trying to do the intercessors before they're a thing?
No, they're the war crime unit. So
it's like every Vietnam film ever. All right, new fish. They won't teach you this in the academy. War crime.
So yeah, they're the ones that are sent in. They've got these things called what are they called, like plasma burners, something like that. So they're essentially a plasma flamer, and it's so toxic that it like reduces their life expectancy even as a space marine. So yeah, you send them in when you absolutely want everything dead. Just dead
in that postcode.
It just dead. Just yeah. And then I did some Inner Circle Knight Cenobium, which have got a ridiculous name and have got a ridiculous like.
Wasn't that a news track?
Probably, almost certainly.
My dark angel baby, and, crucify my mind.
And then I've also assembled. A Leviathan Dreadnought again for war crimes and some missile launcher troops.
Oh, Daddy Longlegs.
Daddy Longlegs. He's got.
There's a plastic one or a resin one.
It's one that I bought off eBay that was claiming to be a resin one, but turned out to be a 3D print, and that I complained about. And the guy was like, "Oh, please don't report me. I'll just take it away." So that was fine. So yeah. It's obviously 3D printed as well. You like looking and go, huh? Didn't even undercoat that. I can just see the resin. Oh,
you'd be fair. You see some of the Forge World stuff. It could still be.
I know.
Yeah, it's a resin copy of a 3D print.
Yeah, exactly. It's less potato than some of the other stuff I've seen.
I thought you meant you had one of the a dreadnought from the Leviathan box set.
Oh no!
Which is why I did the Daddy Longlegs joke, because I sold mine because I just hated the fact it's like 30 stories tall and has itty bitty little arms.
Oh no, these are quite good, but I did magnetize the arms, but the magnets aren't really strong enough, so I might have to not magnetize them.
Oof.
So You live and learn. And then kindly, Chris did me some dwarves. So I've got a dwarf army for Kings of War / Warhammer. That's all
What?
3D
You
printed.
doing dwarves as well?
Yeah, because I found 100 and something odd slayers, didn't I? Because that's
Yes. Yes.
that's the kind of thing that
That
happens to
epic
me.
day.
It's like, oh, what's in that box? Oh, what have I got them?
Slayer.
Yeah,
Queen.
exactly. So I want to do. I even found my old copy of Storm of Chaos, which has got the Slayer army list in. So I'd like to do that, but I
Oh,
don't
very
think-
nice.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it depends what
that's
game
what I've
system
been.
you want to play. If you want to play like an old school one, you can definitely do
Well,
that.
Yeah, I mean it's 6th edition, so it's the edition you like, I believe. So yeah, we can do that once I've got them all assembled. But yeah,
It's all
that's
downhill after 2nd edition.
Second,
I loved 8th because that's when I was working for G Dubs.
8th edition's the best edition. Yeah,
It is pretty good, right?
yeah. It's full turbo wacky.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's all good. And then Flames of Wari. What have I done? Flames of Wari. Oh, I've got some Apaches. I've ordered them. I haven't assembled them yet for we'll talk about later reasons.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
What
What are we moving to here?
Yeah. Sneaky beaky. But that's been it. It's been too hot as well. I'm not being funny. I don't know about
Oh
you,
my
but
gosh, has it been warm?
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus, disgusting. So yeah, none of that. I think I gave up when I was dripping sweat into the pallet. I was like, no, this isn't good.
This is suboptimal.
Suboptimal in the extreme. Not interested.
7 out of 10 would not go again.
Yeah, would not recommend.
Suboptimal, is that when you put a Storm Shadow into a Russian Kira class?
Suboptimal. Oh no,
You're
well, the
such a
anti-ship
nerd.
missile. You mean the anti-submarine
Yeah,
missile? Yeah, sorry.
It's waffly versatile.
Waffly versatile. That's
Yeah.
when you put an
Waffly
advert on.
versatile, like Finder's crispy pancakes. Or whatever.
Yeah, like potato waffles, yeah.
Potato waffles, yeah.
They're waffly versatile.
Grill them, bake them, fry them, eat them, fire them at
You
Russian
could cook them in a
submarines.
toaster.
You
You
can.
I may or may not. I may not have those had Findus waffles for dinner.
They were bird's eye. You didn't. What?
I did, yeah. With
What, just them?
look, no, I had bird's eye potato waffles with KFC chicken because I didn't want to pay all that money for chips.
Get out. Just get. What is wrong with you?
Quite a few
Or
things. but I thought
for
that
our
was quite
Canadian
humorous.
viewers, listeners, participators, brothers,
We're
sisters.
big in Canada.
Oh, we
We are
did
big
the
in Canada.
famous.
Yeah,
No,
we're
we
straight
didn't.
past
We'll come
that.
back
Screw those guys. They
Yeah.
just gave us money.
Come back round to
peek
it.
behind the curtain here. Peek behind the curtain here, fellas. We're having a bit of a trouble with some internet connectivity issues, which means that to me, Duncan sounds like a drunken Dalek.
The best
If you
kind.
don't know what Dalek is, Google it and then come back once you've watched all 20 series of Doctor Who and have fallen in love with that mad nonsense. So we're having a bit of an issue. We've been troubleshooting that for the last hour.
Yeah.
So to us, that sounds like a drunken Dalek, but we're hoping that the final file will actually be fine for you guys. So it's going to be a weird one where we can't hear him, but you can.
No, so Lee's also lost the world live, so he completely forgot the actual sequence. So we will be doing the Internet Famous in a second.
Yes.
Before we do News in the Front.
Let's do it now. Come on, let's do it.
Let's throw the schedule out the window. Exterminate.
You know I hate when we go to the window, but okay.
No, exactly. But that's one of the things with the
that's
bingo
what we're
card.
doing
So
I know. Someone will have it.
what was it? That there's Luftlandesturm. Duncan, what do you think about Schwimmwagens?
I hate Schwimmwagens. They're over points costed. They're awful.
Boys, what else? If they're doing shots for this one, we could suggest they do shots for it on the
Oh my
Discord.
God, we
and
could
get
break 'em.
absolutely smashed. Yes, do it.
I think me and you talked about aeronautica, which kind of alluded to the whole 3D printing thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Harvest lighters have.
Hey, Duncan, how do you feel if I say aeroplane?
Aeroplane.
It sounds like you're talking through a cheese grater.
And yet it's still the same.
It's the full Duncan airplane experience.
I'm very nasally. Yeah, my wah. Am I
Okay,
Admiral Akbar now? Is that what's happening?
It's
It's
a
a
trap.
Yeah. Poor Admiral
Wiggle.
Akbar, masterminded a military campaign. All we remember for is it's a trap.
Yeah.
He's the
So, anyway.
George S. Patton.
Yes.
All about the one-liners.
Yep.
The Star Wars universe.
Died in a horrible Jeep accident.
If only just slapped Jar Jar Binks, we'd have been all a lot happier.
Anyway, so just going back to Internet Famous, we're going to say hello to our patrons, which we apologise again for forgetting.
We didn't forget them. We just misplaced their names in the order. Yeah.
No, we ignored them. It's worse.
So, Eddie, you want to say hello to our
I do. So we have a hat trick tonight. 3 amazing patrons. So thank you very much to Gary, 1 in a million Dillion. I quite like that. Oh, there you go.
Is that your contribution? Is that you doing bingo calling?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
1 in a million Dillion. I'd also like to say thank you to There's a Moody Moose loose about this hoose. Which is my take on Moody Mouse. If you haven't heard There's a Moose loose about this hoose, Google that on YouTube. You're more than welcome. There's a moose.
Is it wine gums?
Sorry?
Is it wine gums?
It was Wine Gums used it as
they used it, but it's an old song. It's one of the old British.
Oh, God.
Comedic,
I think it dates back to the Napoleonic era, but yes.
Yeah, probably. And a huge thank you to also Harry, not Jack Nicholson. Thank you very much for giving us some money. I thought that was better than me just drunkenly slurring your names in a bad attempt at pronunciation. So,
what Nicholson?
Creative.
Well, that's what you were going to struggle with.
No, well,
Harry,
not Jack Nicholson. I thought that was quite a good name.
I mean, you topped it with
Carl
Stopperson.
I know. Carl Stopperson I cannot beat. So no. I'm sorry.
You peaked way too soon. Yeah.
I should have retired.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll now get to they're now paying us for. Oh my God, they're paying us for this, aren't they? Jesus.
Yeah. Oh
I've got people pay us for this. Now I feel really bad.
You've got to pay extra for that kind of action, Cotton.
Yep.
So they are paying this to come onto us and join us on Discord, where we have our
even worse than this. So good luck.
it's even more niche. It's a niche of a niche.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't been on for a while because I've just been, as we've gotten to when I get to the painting session, I've just been in a bit of a hobby rut at the moment. But I'm getting. I
beg your pardon. You can't use language like that on the internet.
Are they going to demonetize us?
Demonetize us. I'm still amazed on episode 98 we still have a clean rating.
Record. It's a phenomenon. I can't explain it either. It's like where does the sun come up?
Copious editing. That's all I'll say.
Oh, yeah.
When we get to the Canadian wheel vehicles, that clean rating is gone. So it's shattered.
Out the window.
Thanks, whoever chose to name all the Canadian vehicles this way. Thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't realise until you posted that comment.
Vagina.
Now I couldn't stop. Now I couldn't stop giggling.
We'll get to it in a minute. So
yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so yes, thanks again, guys. Hopefully we'll catch you on the Discord, and now we'll get back to. I guess it's my turn to do painting. What I've been painting, haven't I?
Painting and building and things. Yes, go.
Yes. So I have not really been doing much because, like I say, I've just got in a bit of a rut. I was stuck on the Centurion. So I was building up a box of Centurions, which I got for the unboxing video.
I
was going to build them up as Israeli Centurions, and I got stuck to this problem that the searchlight is the British style searchlight, so it's too fat, and it's missing the little stowage bin in the back for said searchlight. Right. I spent ages trying to work out how to make it and do it repeatedly. So when I build 10 of these Centurions, they all look the same. And so eventually, I've just been stuck on that for literally a week, just trying out different ways and not getting a satisfactory answer. Until I came across a lump of blue stuff that Duncan gave me ages ago. And I did the old... So So those who don't know, blue stuff is basically like a polymer block that you put in hot water. You then press onto a model, and it effectively takes a imprint. And then green stuff won't stick with it. So you put the green stuff in, let it dry, and you now have a copy. So it's good for like copying, like surface detail and that kind of thing. If you want to transfer it over. So I took thankfully I had a box of the old resin.
Do you have to, when you use the green stuff to do that, do you have to like move a little tab across from read write?
Let's put sellotape over it.
Sellotape over the hole.
I mean, the English listeners have no idea what we're talking about now. But trust us.
I'm loving this fact that I'm now old enough to have in jokes with older people.
Hold on. I'm older than you, Eddie. I don't. What?
How do you not remember this?
Were you rich enough to buy the actual tapes?
What
tapes? Didn't have to copy things off the cassette tapes.
For what? Music?
I'm talking about floppies. And the floppies used to have
floppy disks. I mean, that cassette tapes, floppy disks.
Oh no, I didn't have a computer. Oh no.
Oh, there you go. That explains
I read
a hell
books.
of a lot.
Yeah.
I read books too. Jeez.
Yeah, but you
didn't have both.
Yeah. That's a lie. That's slander. Slanderous.
It was the Mein Kampf picture edition.
No, the pop-up
Kampf audio book.
The pop-up book.
I mean, you must have seen that video of the kid getting given a book for his, like, he's like 7 years old.
Minecraft, yes.
The German dad's like, I said Minecraft, not Mein Kampf. How did you even get this? And demonetized. Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine. His granddad was an electrician during the war. You can tell by the symbols on his uniform. He was obviously an electrician.
Yes.
Second grade, apparently. He had 2 lightning strikes.
two lightning bolts. Yeah. Oh, he just played LARP. It's fine. Lightning bolt. Sleep.
So anyway, yeah. So I eventually I've worked out now how to do the storage bin that only I would ever be bothered by.
Yeah.
And now I feel much better. I'm getting some progress again.
Your chi is back in the
built up,
isn't it?
Yeah. I built up 5 Centurions. I need to do all the detailing on them now, just get all the stowage on the stuff, and hopefully we'll start painting this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
So Eddie, what have you been doing?
I have built a double bed, 2 Kallax shelving units.
Are they Games Workshop Kallax ones? Aren't they?
No,
aren't they part of the ANZAC?
No, they're not part of the annex. They're literally just board games ones. So I've got my board game collection in Kallax units, which has been a life goal of mine, which is very nice. Looks very pretty. What else have I built? The massive desk that I'm currently sitting at, which is half work desk, half hobby desk.
Hobby space.
Yeah, which is good. It's lovely. It's in my conservatory, which is...
I am very envious of your now mouse mat / tablecloth.
That is literally the reason I bought this huge desk, was to fit this on it. I've got it's Games Workshop 2nd edition Codex cover, Warhammer 40,000 mouse. It's not a mat, it's like a desk mat. So it's like 80 centimeters wide, with all the old school 2nd edition Games Workshop Codex artwork on it, which is my main place of work, which makes me very happy. It does. It brings much joy. I thought that putting all of my scale models up in one location would bring me that same amount of joy, and it did, until I ran out of space on that shelving unit, and I still have another 2 boxes worth of models in the garage. It's a lot. I need to start building things.
It's the fact you have like multiples. You've got 2 Corsairs and 2 Curtis.
Well, one of them's a bird cage and one of them's a bubble canopy. So that's technically the same aircraft.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So the 4 Intruders. I asked for Team Yankee, actually. That's right.
The 4 Intruders used to be 6 Intruders.
Yes, you gave 2 to...
2 of them...
2 went to Russell Brand. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 went to Mike, and then I regretted that immediately when it blew me up in the next freaking game.
Yeah.
You know what I regret? I regret telling Mike that Intruders had gun pods.
Yeah,
qualified
me too.
them at one point.
Yes, that's slightly different. The multiples of that, and the multiple P40s are just because I really love a P40, and they were super cheap. And
I mean, I can't argue that. P40s
and then
are awesome.
there's also as like a £10 decal sheet that has a load of RAF decals for P40 schemes in it.
So I'm just trying to count. I think I'm up to 5 Spitfires. I'm only halfway through the second stack.
Do you know the funny thing? I don't
6.
I like
7.
Spitfires, but they're not my favourite.
Well, you've got like 3 times than any other model here.
Well, that's because they release so many Spitfires. It's hilarious. Every time in the scale modelling world, when someone comes out with a new kit, it's like, oh, look, there's another model of a Spitfire. Ooh.
But they all look the same because it's a Spitfire.
That's the thing, though. I'm
racist.
starting to tell the difference.
Racist.
So when I started off, this is hilarious because it's kind of a sign of the times, I think, where you just grow into your parents. So when I first started to get into aviation, I was like, Spitfires. I love the Mark 1s. I like the Battle of Britain, the early models with, the underpower stuff. And I didn't really like all the late war Griffins with the massive engines and all the enlarged control surfaces and the tail fins and stuff like that.
Clip fins and clip wingtips.
Yeah, I was like, clip wingtips. That's horrible. Like that's not a Spitfire. And now I'm like, oh, that's a clipped wing Griffin engine. Oh. It's a Mark 22 that only came into service in like the 1950s. It never actually saw combat, but that's pretty tasty. Oh.
In fact, halfway through the RAF, realised the Roman numerals were getting too complex. They switched the numbers.
So, lots of scale models. Trying to think. Yeah, desk, shelving units, moved house. Managed to get most of the things in. Hobby-wise, I think I'm building up my first model in a couple of weeks, which is the Tyrannid Screamer Killer Carnifex from Leviathan box set. So I've got a game.
Like that.
Yeah, I know, it's really cool. That's like the perfect mix of nostalgia and new technology.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the same sculpt design as the old model, but it's like 3 times as big.
But not ours, and also not so heavy you can kill a person with it.
Yeah, I mean, I still have got the original one upstairs, which I'm gonna.
I thought my one. I was vaguely wondering the other day whether it's actually worth anything, but probably not.
Probably. Oh, they are. No. Classic models have gone mental.
But even the Carnifex, which let's face it, only its mother could love.
Oh,
especially the Carnifex.
People want the old dreadnoughts, the old metal dreadnoughts.
Yeah,
I got one of those too. The Road Trader era ones.
Oh no, not the ugly ones.
The really old ones.
That's gold.
Yeah.
Everything's gold. It's ridiculous. Nostalgia Hammer is big on eBay.
There is a throbbing nostalgia gland at the moment.
A huge nostalgia gland.
Yeah. You could
say
engorged.
not engorged. Not a whole lot of hobby going on, unfortunately. But a whole lot of hobby relocation and sorting through things, which is good. It's good to see everything kind of coming together. Feeling
fantastic.
Positive.
Yeah, and we're glad you guys are in. Yeah,
no, great. And obviously having enough space to have our own table and host games nights as well, which is going to be wicked.
Yeah, so maybe in the near future we can actually start recording the podcast all for this in the same place. That'd be interesting.
I think that'd be dangerous.
Definitely start meandering more.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't click record again. Oh no.
Lee slightly nervously looks at the Zencaster and makes sure that wasn't actually just saying the truth. I'm not sure I could take it. I think at that point I'd just go offline.
Just call it a night. It's a fair effort, boys. I'm done.
We tried.
We did try. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm not shortchanging it. No, that is literally all of the hobby that I've done.
The next one, we'll move it along.
Yeah.
So, news to the front, Eddie. What have you been playing?
Not a whole lot, other than the it's called Blitz Bowl, which is the North American exclusive Barnes and Noble board game version of the Blood Bowl Games Workshop game.
Yes.
So it's absolutely amazing. Fallen in love with it even more. It's an absolute travesty it's only available in North America because they would sell so many copies.
I actually remember getting you to smuggle me a copy back.
Was this the one we played?
Oh, you got one, did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
we played this? I think didn't you and Lee play it? Hasn't it got
me
dwarves?
and Eddie played it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the little one, and they've released the Ultimate Edition now, which I'm going to try and get the mother-in-law to fly over when she comes over later this year.
Did you pack? Has anyone
Which
asked you
has-
to carry anything on for them?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's just all these board games. But yeah, it basically takes half a Blood Bowl team, so normally 6 to 8 men, depending on which race you've gone for. And it's a super quick, lots of scoring, high octane miniature board game version, which I played Justin with twice against his Skaven. First with humans, and then with elves. And both games ended up getting 30 plus points.
Oh, wow.
And going into sudden death overtime. And both games ended up with him winning by 2 points the first game and 3 points the second game. But that was in the very last turn, scoring, this plus this plus this gets me 5 points, which then puts me. So I was like winning up until the very last turn, and then got pipped at the post.
Yeah, because the scoring in the game is different. It's not necessarily just the touchdowns. It's
you get 3. You get 3 points for a touchdown, but then on the side they're challenge cards. So it'd be like, show us a completion if you, because the fluff behind it is the idea is that you're doing it's the tryouts. So all the players are trying out to get onto Blood Bowl teams. So it's all about big plays, big hits. If you get injured, you're off the board, but you can come back on next turn as an action. So there's lots of things. And if you score a touchdown, you get teleported off the board. So it's all about pace and kind of momentum and that kind of thing. So it's a real different version of Blood Bowl, as well as you only get 3 actions a turn. And they can be on different players or the same player, but you only get 3 actions, and then that's your turn. You hand over, so it's a lot quicker, and it's really elegant, which is why it's such a good board game, because it is just it captures the feel of Blood Bowl without taking 2.5 hours. It normally takes about 90 minutes, and that's quite an extended, now biting game version. But alas, it's only available through Barnes and Noble. But I would, the third version I hopefully get later this year. He says. But that is me. Who's played?
I played Flames of War.
I say because Lee. Flames of War.
Yep.
What is that? Flames of War is dead, isn't it?
He's dead. It's dying every day.
It's dead.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's dead to me.
Oh
Dead
God.
to you.
All right, Eeyore. Jesus Christ.
Can you not?
God. Thanks for noticing me, guys. I played Flames of War against Luke. He was using Berlin Germans, but with the the random tank company, where you can have basically whatever you like. It's the Clausewitz one, I think.
Yeah.
He took 2 Brumbars. That was his first mistake, because you need at least 3. I mean, obviously, because he wanted to try them out.
Obviously, of course.
I call it have I told you about this? The double wyvern situation.
The double wyvern? No.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was playing Warhammer, the orc war boss on a wyvern was a bit rubbish. Okay, so it wasn't very good. It wasn't a dragon or anything like that. So I decided that actually what the answer to that problem was 2 orc bosses on wyverns. So you just double down on what's rubbish. Yeah. So that double wyvern's a thing. You use one to shield the other. It's like, perfect, of course.
If you got a poop sandwich, just have two servings.
Exactly.
Everything counts in large amounts.
Exactly. Double up.
Quality has a quantity all of its own.
Oh, shut up. Shut up, Starling. No, it doesn't.
That was Darling. It was backwards.
Oh, was it? Captain Darling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just distraction from the main event. That's what that was.
Exactly. So he was taking that. So 2 Brumbars are not going to do anything ever. And they didn't.
Yeah.
Because he was expecting them to have a direct fire of a Hummel. And I had to point out to them they did not have the direct fire of a Hummel. A Hummel is better.
No.
Hummel's got 80-11. Brumbar's got 87. I mean...
Oh.
Yeah, sad
It's got a
humble
sound cut.
noises.
It's got a soundboard for
Oh,
that.
that is a sound. I don't want to jinx it with
No.
the technical issues, but yes, that is a soundboard moment.
And he had Panzer 470s and just Panzer 4s, and then Panzer 4 Grenadiers, or the Grenadiers that were in formation, and some verbal wins. And I think that was pretty much it. And I took my Americans for a change. So
what late war Americans?
late war Americans, Bulge Americans. So there were easy 8s everywhere, and there were jumbos coming at the wazoo, which is exactly where you want a jumbo.
Thunderbolts too, weren't there?
There were Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts were absolutely delightful. Absolutely delightful. I can't remember.
Duncan, air power advocate.
Oh, absolutely.
Wah wah wah! Aeroplanes. Wah wah wah!
I think
remove those models.
That's it. I don't have to know what they are.
It's a dick move.
Yeah. I don't have to know what they do. I just have to know what the outcome is. The outcome is flaming holes. So they were.
You definitely had to pay extra for that.
Oh, absolutely! Flaming holes, absolutely glorious.
My favourite cocktail.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So I can't remember what scenario we were playing. It's the one that's back to. It's long ways, and you both have reserves, but the defender has scattered deep reserves and comes on from either side. His reserves. Kill box?
Oh.
I can't remember. It's something like that.
Killing ground.
Killing ground. It could be. And long story short, it was very, very close in the end. It would just turn into a bun fight. I think I had at one point my Calliopes dueling with Whirlwinds at indirect fire. So the Calliopes couldn't really. Well, there wasn't really a target for them, but I remember that they are actually just a Sherman. So they just drove off and went, "Oh, we'll go and kill that recce then, shall we?" And they went, "Oh,
Do
yeah."
they still have a main gun?
Yeah.
Or are you just using 50 cows?
No, just main gun them.
Yeah, it hasn't got a main gun.
Sorry, 50 cows. Yeah, 50 cows.
Yes,
50 cows.
50 cows is your main gun.
That makes sense.
So yeah, 50 cows on the recce. Kill that. Yep.
Yes.
So he was firing 2 centimeter recce at the Sherman in the flank, and I was just hosing him down with 50 cow fire.
Is there? Can you hear someone knocking? I mean,
yep.
Should we oil the tracks or something? It's just.
So they're actually quite useful for 8 points. I'm surprised you don't see them more, because they can actually do stuff. But
I think mod wasn't such a pain in the butt with its modern soft plastic bits. But
yeah, I saw a couple of posts about that recently.
Someone was using the old whiz-bang model as a stand-in, the big metal box on top, which looked quite cool.
Yeah, that'll work. But you've got to get the models again still, haven't you?
Oh yeah, that is unfortunately well out of print. But the old whiz-bang demolition rocket.
Do you know what the other thing is that you shouldn't be doing with that army, even with AZ8s and stuff, is firing 76mm guns at long range against Panzer 4s or Panzer 470s. Sorry, Panzer 470s.
Oh god, definitely not.
Yeah, it doesn't work because their front arm was 10 and your AT is 12. So
10 at range, yeah.
Yep. So that was unfortunate.
Those baby panthers will get you every time, man.
Yep.
The second you underestimate them, because they go, oh, they look weird, oh, they're just like Stooks, oh, what's this all about? And then all of a sudden you're in trouble.
They're like Stooks. They're Stooks and Meths.
They're panther Stooks.
They are really good.
It's a crack addict version of the Stug.
Yeah.
the speed fired Sug. Yeah. But yeah, so they
work. Yes. Well, no, but they work enough.
I mean, I won't be doing that again. But in revenge, the Thunderbolts came in and killed all 3 Panzer 470s and the command Stug sat behind them with rockets. So I was
with rockets. You managed to range it in. Nice.
Yeah, ranged it in first in a wood first attempt, and then went right. Take all that off. Yeah. So that was fine.
Power,
but then
air power.
And then some Panthers
at this
came
point,
on.
do you think air power is just like one of those abusive partners that doesn't give any attention to the people that want it,
Yes.
And yet, if you play it cool and ignore them, they'll come crawling to you and be like, "Oh, please like me."
Well, to be
Whoosh,
fair,
whoosh! I'll turn up. I'll destroy half their army.
but to be fair, they did that once and then didn't bother doing anything else for the rest of the game. I was completely content with that, by the way. So
they are exactly the abusive partner that turns up
they
at
are
one
100%.
time.
Yeah. One and then gaslight you as well, because they're like, "Oh, I could turn up.
Yeah,
Oh, I will turn up, and I will range in on these 2 tigers." And the tigers go,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, but I've got top armor too, so just no." You're like, "Oh."
So the trouble is, Lee, is you'll have this memory. You have this core memory for so long, and then you'll be like, "Oh, I need to get rid of them. They're rubbish." And you're like, "Oh, but remember that one time when
that
they
one
did
time
turn
it
up
worked."
and yeah. It's like it would be like, "Duncan, that was 10 years ago." Yeah, but no, but yeah.
I can change them. I can make them work.
You can change them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need to take anything. I don't need to take Marders or anything else that's meta.
To be fair though, the Thunderbolts in the American Army, I do think are quite necessary, because even the 50 cows, you could just go around ragging on the stuff that's sat at the back, like Hummels and Grills. And
They're
things.
never as good as P40s, but yes, you're right.
P40. I wanted lightnings. I wanted the cool lightning, but they never came back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get
cannon
distracted.
armament as well. Yep.
Don't get distracted by the war crime machine.
Exactly. I'm seeing a thread here. I don't like it in myself as well. So that's coming through quite strongly now. But yeah, I mean, it ended up just being a bit of a bun fight in the middle. Panthers and Shermans dueling at close range, which is never good for the Panthers, and ultimately
No.
The Clausewitz though is really interesting. I did point out to Luke that he missed a trick with the stews. They should have had 3 stews instead of the broom bars.
Yeah.
Because they're in formation and they do a barrage, and they're just better on every conceivable level.
Yeah. Patently a better choice. Yeah.
How did the reluctant veteran work out?
Perfectly.
That's
perfectly. He didn't have to worry about it, because it was being hit. He's hit on 4s as well.
Yes, of course.
So, the only problem he had was his Panzer Grenadiers. They occupied some buildings and then refused to rally, so then just sat under a double barrage for a bit.
Could he run them the other direction?
No, because at that point the Calliopes had moved up.
There's well-known flanking scout unit, the Calliope.
The Calliope Shermans. And then the Recce was hitting them from the other side, so he was surrounded on 3 sides almost. He probably could have fallen back, but it's just they were doing a job.
I was going to say,
to an extent.
That's Fez's top tip with a pinned infantry unit or any pinned unit is yes, you cannot move closer to a visible enemy.
Yes,
but you can always move away from.
Yeah. And that was fine. But I mean, the veterancy was killing me at long range. So Panthers at long range, Panzer 470s at long range. Yeah. So if I was moving up with the stabilizers, I was hitting him on 5s or 6s, and then he was returning fire and hitting me on on 5s or 4s. And it was just you can't do that with Americans. They cannot take that punch.
So that is the biggest thing. My bone of contention, because I love Panthers. Maybe backtracking a little bit there. Love is a strong word to appropriate to a Nazi war machine.
Well,
I like Panthers as a tabletop force. However, the biggest I ran them in V3 when you had an extra easily like 2 turns worth of shooting, because nobody ever dashed / doubled anywhere because you got twice the amount of shots. But now that you can dash quite happily and soak up shots with the jumbo, they've lost the key tenet, and they suffer the double penalty in that they lose that extra bit of shooting, and actually they're quite fast themselves, so they get the Phil Yates points effect of getting penalised for being fast when actually you don't want them to be fast. You just want them to sit in the wood and
maximise your shots and stay still. Exactly. That speed's useless.
Yeah, exactly.
Speed will be their armour, though, Eddie.
But it won't, will it? Because
no, it won't. It absolutely won't.
They're not a brawler. Like you say, as soon as you go, they got close and traded shots, you go, that's never going to end well.
As soon as you can flank them, as soon as you get the merest sniff of being able to flank them, they'll fall over. Yep. And then that's where the reluctant kicks in, because they haven't got protected ammo or anything, so they're never getting back in the tracks. It degenerates quite quickly.
And then you're like, I should have brought Tigers.
And even the Tigers, because they're only 8 now, Well, they're only 8 now.
They're
but-
always 8.
No, but 8 in late war is not the 8 it is in mid war, is it? They're not.
It's not. That's true. Yeah,
And
well, not when you've got easy 8s flanking you.
And that's the thing, and because they're still reasonably expensive, they're not cheap as chips in the Clausewitz.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. It was a good game. It just made me really think about the Americans going, 80-12 isn't as good as you think it is.
No.
Did you actually win in the end? Was that
I did, yeah, I did. By breaking the company,
Nice.
ironically.
company break?
Yeah, which apparently never happens, but yeah, it does happen.
Well, you just don't get a lot of tourists, do you?
We don't. And he had a couple of smallish units. He had 2 Tigers, 3 Panthers, 3 470s, 3 Panzer IVs. So there was lots of smallish units, but they're also the sort of thing that starts, it does crumble.
Yeah.
So I think everything was in formation apart from the Brimbars. So it was quite a chunky formation. It was just a bit brittle. And I don't think that scenario suited it because obviously it's got 40% off and it's delayed scattered reserves. So you get your Panthers coming on where you don't really want them, for example.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a detriment. And I think, the air power did them.
Yeah.
Air power.
Exactly. So Bomber Harris approves this message.
I had to admit something. There was
This could be a war crime confession.
No, we're all good.
They're coming straight for me.
I was on eBay and there was a Corgi model of Bomber Harris. And I bid on it for you.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And unfortunately, I got outbid by a bot at the last minute. No, I didn't. So,
Bomber Harris is my spirit animal.
So
Bomber Harris was a distraction from the main event.
But hold on, I'm going to suggest this when I go to the RAF Museum next because you can get a cuddly Panzerfaust and a cuddly Tiger tank at the Bovington.
You need to get a cuddly
Bomber Harris.
A cuddly Bomber Harris holding a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, exactly. Just smoking a cigarette nonchalantly.
Yep.
Lit on a miniature city, a miniature Japanese city.
Yeah.
Not Japanese. Sorry, a miniature German city. Obviously, Curtis LeMay would be smoking on the miniature Japanese one. You can have a series of cuddlies, like plushes. Yes,
Cuddly Curtis
babies.
LeMay.
Beanie Babies.
The bad taste Bomber Blick babes.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Right to the internet.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen. I'll crowdfund it. Hey, if Oppenheimer can make a good movie, like, come on.
Yeah, why is Oppenheimer holding a mushroom? No reason.
No reason. Shush now. Yeah. I've grown a conscience. Have you? That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Have you? Bit late.
Yeah. I've become Ganesh. No, well, not Ganesh. Whatever it is, the destroyer of worlds. Have you? Oh dear.
Have you really?
Have you really?
I have become death.
But yeah, it was a good game. It was supposed to be a warm up for that there warfare, which I still need to buy a ticket for. That'll be payday. But yeah, I like the Americans. I don't think American armor is where it's at. Is where the conclusion I came to.
I think they're great for bulge games, and they work really well against bulge lists.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think in an open competition format, they're a little bit pricey.
Although I do think the Easy 8 and Jumbo Reserve single drop unit is quite tasty, where you can sink something like 35, 38 points into a unit's coming on, just going, oh, I don't care about moving, and you're dead now.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way,
so yeah,
Easy 8's a trap.
They are a trap.
But they're such a glorious, amazing, high voltage suspension trap.
I'm not sure. I mean, they worked out right.
The springs go sideways.
Oh God! Jesus Christ! Right,
four-sprung dwarf technique.
Four spring dike technique. That's the that's the German, isn't it?
I just love finding out more about. Actually, you hear about these terms. Oh, that sounds really, really complicated. And you're like, oh, it just means they put the spring sideways and they coil inside each other, so they actually have a further moment of travel than if they were a traditional coil spring. Oh, okay. I guess that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then you see it hammering across a dirt field. You're like, okay, that is pretty cool. It does work. It works quite well. Oh, okay. Now they're using their stabilizers to great effect. And best job I ever had.
So, yeah.
Stupid tiger.
Yes, apart from the super tiger, obviously.
Yeah, sure, tiger. Let's just shoot the 75mm first. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. No, they got a 105.
We're going to sit here. No, let's charge the Shermans. Okay, let's charge the Shermans.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to get into a Fury rant. Okay.
Have you seen the Squire video about Fury if the German Tiger crew wasn't stupid?
I can imagine it.
Yeah. It's exactly what you're saying, and it's very well done. It's a very well done parody. And just going, should we just pop smoke and bugger off? Yeah, I think so. Let's do that. And they just drive away.
If they run out of fuel.
Yeah. Or mechanical breakdown occurs. Other than that.
Okay. Any more games, Duncan?
Nope, that was it. Just me one.
Just
Right.
one game, actually.
Just one game, actually. But that's fine.
Well, I'm looking forward to my game tomorrow, so I'll finally get some. The next podcast, I'll have some games to talk about.
What are you playing? Give a little bit of lifting the skirt.
So we're going to be playing for Eddie's going to be using his Nationals Italian list.
Dirty.
So I'm going to bring in my Tunisian era British list with the Shermans.
It's not dirty.
It is.
It's not dirty. It's not dirty, no. But I reckon it's got a better. It's got a better chance. My Honey Stewart horde did.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Honey Stewart's are 87. I'm only front armor 3. Your front armor 4?
6. Oh, no, on Honey Stewart 3.
Yeah, 3 against my AT of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stewart's are hard. They're a tough nut to crack for the L6 Swarm Horde of Doom.
Didn't feel like it.
Well, that's because it wasn't the L6s that were shooting it. It was everything else.
Yeah, Semente was just ripping me apart.
Yeah, I had a very good game that game. So they just turned out and went, oh, you go put us on the board. All right then. Fadooshk.
Yeah.
But also the AT-14 doesn't matter. For the big stuff.
You have to say it again because we did not hear that at all.
Oh, AT-14 doesn't matter.
AT-14.
That's true. Yeah. Against the Honey Stewart, AT-14 just turns you inside out, and that's it. Yeah.
There's only one word that matters in Overkill.
Yeah.
There was part of me that was thinking that maybe, like, if you have, if you have a gun that is so powerful that the opponent does not have a save, such as firing a Lancia against a Stuart, there should be a rule that you get to reroll your firepower, or you get +1 to your firepower, or something like that.
Brutal, shouldn't it?
Well, yes and no. I think because the amount of times you sit there and go, right, I've hit you with an 88 against your, Greyhound, and you're like, okay, so you've hit me enough to potentially knock me out. So it's now about how much damage has that shot done? Oh, you've bailed me out. You just kind of go, really? Really? How many times is it, where the heck has that 88 hit, quote unquote, to just bail a Greyhound?
Just gone through, yeah.
Yeah, but even then, you say just gone through. Like,
I know.
It's not a 2/3, a 1/3 chance of it being okay, is there? It's.
Well, you do imagine there's some kind of lasting trauma for the crew as well at that point.
Yeah, at the very least, that's the diary entry. Dear Mum, today you never guess what happened to my Jeep, but it's all right. We made the 3-up save.
It's 4-up. It's 4-up save in a Jeep.
Yeah, 4-up.
The 4-up FU save. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my Nationals list is just my ETC list -1 L6 to drop it down to the 100 points.
Yes.
So only one platoon of 3. Oh.
Right. So obviously we'll bring more on that next episode. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the new NATO Forces book.
Woo! Does that mean I have to get it up?
Pardon?
Yeah, I always get it up when
He
it's new
says.
books.
For now.
So it's Cougars.
Oh.
Get it up for those Cougars and Grizzlies. Hooray!
Let's have so much fun with this first bit. So this is basically a version 2 version of the Free Nations book from
Do you want to know when
Team Yankee.
Do you want to know when? Do you want to know when Free Nations came out? Because I looked this up. 2018.
Oh wow!
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you're slightly older than Harriet. Bizarre.
If you listen quietly, you can just about hear from my garage the Canadian models I bought when it released screaming in agony.
I 2018.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like last year. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yep.
Yes. So it's basically we have the first 4 original nations. So we have the Canadians, the Australians, to ask the French, and the Dutch.
The Dutch.
Yep. And we also now gain the Belgians, and everyone else gains a whole bunch of new toys.
Yes.
So first up is the Canadians. I'm going to say now, I like the way the Canadians is done, because in Red Dawn, you have this whole extra bit of fluff where basically the Russians somehow managed to pull off an amphibious landing into Canada, like the US Navy getting involved. And it opens up an entire new front. Now, obviously, all the forces, most of Canada has, the 4th Canadian Mechanised Brigade are deployed into Europe with all the heavy tanks. So all that's left in the Canadian mainland are their wheeled vehicles, their fire support vehicles and stuff. And it also adds an extra option in support. Whereas the original Canadian list, you had German and American support for CENTAG. Mm-hmm. In this one, you have a British ally support option because you have the British Army Training Unit Suffolk. Beef Battus. That's where basically the British Army goes and fires off, anti-tank rounds off into the wee distance of the Canadian plains.
Because when they go crazy and fly off in the middle of nowhere, it's not as if you're doing it at Sandhurst.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So it builds on it. We still have the Leopard and the M113 formations of the original book. We now get an additional European formation of Leopard 2, which is basically Canada getting a whole bunch of leopards earlier than they do in real life.
They never give leopards to anyone.
Well, apparently the Germans have been very generous in this book. And we then get 4 new formations for the Canadian, the home forces, basically, which are trying to snigger. The Cougar Armour Squadron, the Coyote Armour Squadron, which is basically the LAV-25 US Marine Corps use. The Grizzly.
Can we use their official name of Coyote Ugly? Thank you.
Yeah, Coyote Ugly. The Grizzly Mechanized Company, a bunch of big burly guys in a very small amount of space. And the Airborne Company, Canadian Airborne Regiment. So that's like your light infantry force. So it's doubles. Well, what's that? 2 triples the amount of formation count that the Canadians had in this book.
Yep.
And obviously throws in a whole bunch of new options. Let's say going forward, one thing to note on the actual support. The actual support for the Canadians doesn't change too much, other than they now get the option of long-barreled M109s. But on the American Allied support, they now have Apaches as an option, M2 Bradley mechanized platoons, and also M1A1 Abrams as well. So
squirrels in turbine-powered tread armor.
Yeah, so the support you can bring the Canadians is quite fundamental. So just looking at special rules, you get the airborne rule for the Paras, so you can do all those cool air assault missions we've been playing around with.
Woo!
Bazooka skirts you know about from the Leopard. Hammerhead's now in because the M150 tow vehicle has now been supplanted by the M113 tow under armour, It's
Ooh.
basically a bit like the American tone. It's like an elevating turret. The same as their Norwegian we saw in their Nordic Forces book.
Oh, okay. It's their own
Yeah.
version of a hammerhead.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same turret as the Norwegians use.
Oh, nice.
You get no assault because the Eric's missile isn't here, and thankfully it actually spells it out, which the Nordic Force didn't. So basically, the Erics can be used in defensive fire, but after that, it just basically fights as grenades.
Oh God.
So I'm actually, this is what I'm saying. I'm liking the Erics less and less as we go on because you can't fire it when it's pinned.
Yeah.
You can fire it in defensive fire, but after that, it's largely useless. It does pack a punch because it's tandem warhead 8-10-24, but
Right.
I wonder how many times you actually get to use it.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be pinned a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another cool thing they got with the Canadians is they actually explain the theming. So the actual army list lets you do whatever you want, but it does try and steer towards some theming by saying, here's the units you should use for fighting in Germany, and here's the units you should use for fighting the home front.
Nice.
So you don't have to do it, but it's there if you want to try and do like a themed force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so moving on. Leopard 2s. Standard Leopard 2A4. Obviously, it's a bit cheaper than the West German one because you're not fearless like the West Germans are. But otherwise, it's a standard. It's basically the same stats as a standard Leopard 2. But you get up to 4 of those, plus an infantry platoon, plus a tow platoon, either the M150 or the M113 Tundra armor, and up to 3 recce patrols.
Nice.
Yeah. And like I say, one thing that now is Canadians on their tow vehicles now get the option of tow too.
Is it worth it?
Yes.
It depends what you're facing. If you're facing lots of T50s, no. T55s, no.
Right.
If you're facing a T80s, absolutely.
Because it punches them up to
23.
23, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's only like a 1 point gain.
It's 1 point, yeah. So I think you probably throw it on there if you got a point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Important that the M150 cannot have the actual tow to it. It's only the Tundra armor can take it.
Oh, okay.
Presumably because they had to have a newer turret, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why it hasn't gone back onto the old tow vehicle. Like, I can't see any reason why it couldn't fire a tow 2 missile, but
Wasn't backwards compatible.
Yeah, presumably. You then have the original Leopard C1, which is a Leopard 1 unit. No massive changes here other than you get the option of having the Tundra armor as an option. And on the recce patrols, you have the Lynx, but also have the option of the Coyote. And like I said, Coyote is basically the LAV 25 in Canadian service.
Okay.
So it's got less armor.
Multi-wheeled thing.
Yeah, it's got less armor, less mobility, except for on the road. And its gun hits slightly harder because it's much harder in terms of anti-tank, but it's saying firepower 5, same as a 50 cal. So up in the air, which is a better option. I'm kind of thinking the Lynx recce patrol is still a better way to go.
With its little 50 cal 113 things.
But
that's good because they've got 8 of those. So.
Yeah.
Aren't they smaller in terms of the footprint as well on the table? They're easier to hold.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's all the sort of the home forces, as it were.
Look at you being all tactical, Dunk.
I'm just saying, you know, they're any widgy.
Yeah. The ickle.
The ickle. That's the technical definition.
It could possibly hurt you.
Yeah.
Actually, before we get to the Canadian Home Force, I missed the M113 company.
It's the same, isn't it?
Big change. Sorry?
It's the same, isn't it? I was laughing.
Pretty much.
Sorry.
So the big change here is that you can each the Carl Gustavs can be replaced by an Eric's missile.
Oof.
But it's like a point each, so it's going to mount up quickly.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you do it every platoon. I think having one platoon with it, they can sit back and cover like 2 forward platoons might be the way to go. But on the other hand, you got up to 3 tow sections in that company. So you could have potentially 12 of those Tundra armors firing out, 9 of those Tundra armors firing out 2 missiles each turn. The Eric's missile might be somewhat redundant at that point. I would rather put the points actually getting dedicated tank units, but have a little Carl Gustav backing up.
I like the Kalka stuff just for point defense.
I think it definitely shows its age when you start going up against like T8, anything with era armor. But on the other hand, you can still fire it when you're pinned, which seems like a very good argument for it.
What, that you're going to be pinned a lot because there's a lot of artillery knocking around.
Yeah, well, that's it. You always can be. How often are you not? How often does the enemy not pin you before the assault?
Never.
Not very smart. Yeah.
No, exactly. So that's why I wrote about the Erics and anything more than a fire support role from like a third platoon. Yeah, so we then get a bit of fluff talking about the actual invasion of Canada. Big shout out to the guys at Edmonton because apparently you're screwed.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah.
Can you set up your patrons to be repeating payments before?
Could get cash in advance. Yeah. Do we take rubles?
God no! No, don't take rubles. Never.
No, don't take rubles.
Under no circumstance.
But it basically repeats a lot of the stuff from Red Dawn, but puts it in a Canadian context, and obviously it adds in these new units to basically explain how they fit into the context.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's nice that that the actual background's there.
I was a little bit bummed that the Iltis Recce Jeeps are only in the Recce formation.
No, they're in one of the other formations.
Are they?
Yes, in the Cougar, Coyote, and Grizzlies, they're an option. You don't get a ton of armour in Canada. You get the option of either M150 tows or Iltis tow sections.
Oh, okay.
So we look at the box. The box gives you both options.
Yeah, but that's still not like a whole formation.
Oh, God.
Oh, a whole formation of tow jeeps.
No.
If you want to do that, you go do American Humvees.
Or Israelis.
Well, I've got those already. But
yeah, Sorry.
I guess it's just two. What we need to do is buy 2 boxes of helicopters.
Yeah, because I think you need
3 boxes. You need 6.
Yeah, you need 4 for a full strength platoon, and they come in 2s, don't they?
Well, no, the short stack is 3 helicopters.
Ah, right, yeah.
So you need to buy at least 3 boxes. Stick your infantry in there, and then have the 3 platoons of tow jeeps and 3 platoons of recce jeeps.
Do the Canadians have access to the Chinooki?
Oh, yeah, I believe Canadians use Chinooks.
Good
it's
question.
not actually an option in the list.
No,
but it'll be in the the Canadian, not Canadian. It'll be whatever the Chinook list was in, which I'm now failing to think what book that was. That was in Red Dawn.
Red Dawn, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it appeared that Canada had an airborne option in Red Dawn.
No, but it's what you can. It'll be in the Chinook bit. I'm just looking it up now. You guys carry on talking about other things.
Okay.
Yeah. So, first formation you get is a Cougar. So this is basically the original Moag Piranha 2. I think it's 2 or 3. Yeah, but so it's basically a 6-wheel version of what becomes the LAV 25 later. But the best thing about it is it mounts a Scorpion turret.
What?
So it's packing the 76mm low velocity cannon of the Scorpion,
or is it
and you don't get the sneak and peek rule.
Oh,
so
no.
you can move.
It's not pleased to see you.
No.
So you can move 10 inches and still fire. Yes, well, it's slow firing, so you do have a penalty in that respect. But
is it slow firing?
It's not.
It's slow firing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they put that instead of sneak and peek. So you still don't want to move and shoot if you can avoid it, but it's not as much penalty.
That's a bit weird because it goes from
not much armor,
rate of fire to 2 to 1, and then gets slow firing. Yeah.
I always thought that the British ones were brutal as well. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe they are just 2+.
They are just 2+.
But yeah, amphibious, infrared. But
I'm sad to report that in Red Dawn there is no reference to Canadian Airborne because they didn't exist when the Red Dawn book came out.
I don't think it did.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So you always use it as a proc. Yeah.
It's always just using our own games, whatever,
Exactly. Yeah.
Who needs points? Where we're going.
all
It
your eggs in
feels
one
pretty-
basket. Where's I going with this? Yeah, so Cougar, big problem with Cougar is mobility. Cross terrain dash of 10 inches, cross of 5.
Oh,
It's
God.
awful.
So stick to the roads.
Is that
Sir, we've been stopped. Why? What is it, Jones? Is anti-tank ditches? No, sir. Is it anti-tank traps? No, sir. What is it? It's a small fence.
Yeah, it's a shrubbery.
It's a
Is-
shrubbery.
is that because they're old? You know, they're an older
No,
lady.
it's just because it's just a wheeled APC. What's the problem with wheeled APCs is you're training off cross country performance
Yeah.
for road performance.
So isn't it
Speed.
6-wheel drive?
It's a 6-wheel drive, but yeah, I mean, so the Lab 25, which is next to it with an 8-wheel drive, has a cross of 4 and a better terrain dash. Because obviously it just have that kind of mobility, but
Yeah.
I have a blindfold on. Wait. Okay, hold on. Right. I'm in a room, and there's a book in front of me. It says NATO Forces. Opening out. Ooh, Canadians. Ooh, lots of data things. Hello. Break through assaults.
Lee, I think Duncan's been replaced by Mike Everest. By the
Fine.
sounds of it,
It's
is
all
that
part
you,
of the plan.
Mike?
I am Duncan's hot tag. More importantly, his officially state-sanctioned replacement and super sub. If somebody could just hit ravishing Rick Rude's, simply ravishing.
I
as
kept
could appear,
telling
that'd be amazing.
Duncan not to geotag his selfies, but he wouldn't. You know,
It's fine. I know exactly where he lives.
operational security isn't one of his strong points.
Evidently.
Have you got a copy of the book in front of you, Mike? What page?
I
is
have
it
a copy of the book in front of me. We're going to go to. It says Cougars and Grizzlies. Cougars and Grizzlies and Coyotes. This
I'm
reminds
just
me of my
checking.
days back in.
This is a Flames of War Team Yankee book,
Is
right?
there
It's not.
a big guy on the front page?
I'm not going to lie, mate. Cougars and Grizzlies and Coyotes reminds me of my past life back at Wildcat Collection.
Cougars, Grizzlies, and Coyotes. Oh my! Cougars and Grizzlies and Coyotes. Oh my!
I mean, and I'm not on safari. I'm definitely selling to these people.
It's fine. It's fine. We haven't got the Canadian Wizard Sleeve unit yet, so
Terrain.
The Canadian Golden Rivet unit.
Terrain.
Anyway, right.
Anyway, on Grizzlies.
Yeah.
On
On the subject of Grizzlies.
Concerning Grizzlies. Concerning Grizzlies.
They're back.
Oh my God! There's a concerning grizzly coming towards me. I
They're
got
back
some things
again,
to say about this.
A Canadian
I
tale.
got some things to say about concerning grizzlies. Right. Okay. So, mechanized platoons are pretty smart, right? The
Yeah.
Erics. Am I right in saying this is like a super jacked up on the juice Charlie G type deal?
Think of it more as a sawn off Milan, basically.
Sort of land.
Because
Well, you absolutely positively have to take out every tank in the room.
this thing, okay, is it's on the gas, brother. Because this, is it anti-tank 17?
No,
Am I
so
right?
Charlie G is anti-tank 17. This bad boy is anti-tank 24 and tandem warhead. Yeah.
Which means you can take your era armor and you can stick it where Ivan doesn't shine, right?
Yeah.
What's the
bananas.
minimum range, though? Surely you
There
can't.
is no minimum range.
No minimum range, but
you
it's
can't use it in assault, but you can use it in defensive fire.
So,
okay. So
AT-24 into your side armor.
Mm-hmm.
So this has got to be. It's got to be up there with one of the single most effective blocking forces.
Oh,
in the
God,
game.
I need
Right,
a
but the
minute.
thing you got to remember is this thing. It has no moving rate of fire. So if you're pinned, you get no shot.
Okay.
So when we were looking at the M113 section, what feels like a few weeks ago now, Segue. That had three Charlie Gs. I said you don't want to upgrade that because you'll lose your free shots if you're pinned.
Right.
But the Grizzly mechanized platoon, just to go over this bit of detail.
Mhm.
It's about the same number of teams as the M113, but you get 5 SOAR teams and only 1 Charlie G. So you still have 6 teams, but the distribution is different. You still got your 6mm mortar, you still got your Jimpy team. So upgrading that 1 Charlie G, I think, whereas I disagree with the M1 with the 3 Charlie Gs upgrading them, I think this makes sense because if you're pinned, you're only losing 1 shot. But if you're unpinned, that shot is if you got 1 shot, make it count.
Yeah, it's gonna chew on the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Don't throw it away.
Anti-Tank 24. Yeah, Anti-Tank 24. You can still, you can opener even big.
Nothing's
Soviet
good.
heavy tanks.
What can save against 24 on the side?
Because even Cobham and Era are still 16. Obviously,
'Cause
you
of
lose
tandem.
the Era because of tandem. Yep.
Yeah, but
even
even
Cobham
24, even against frontal armor, you're going to be getting the old can opener out even for the biggest
Yeah,
items.
against the front. That's what I mean.
packs, yeah.
Defensive fire, the side, no chance.
Yeah.
Who's going to be charging unpinned guys with hordes of T-72s, Eddie?
Only going to do it once, that's for sure.
Yes, these guys are basically training the M113 for the Grizzly transport, Snigger, which is basically the APC equivalent of the Cougar we just talked about. So rather than having a Scorpion tank, exactly. Grizzly, I know it's the Canadians. I tried getting Darren to confirm why the names went here. Also, why do they not name anything Beaver? I was sitting right there. It's a Canadian treasure, and they didn't actually name anything a Beaver.
God damn it!
Sad.
You change the Scorpion turret out for a 50 cal turret, basically. So it's really just focused on being a transport, battle taxi. Yeah. You've got 3 platoons of those, 2 minimum, 1 optional. Instead of a tank platoon, you've got the Cougar armor troop, because the idea basically is all the tanks are in Europe, so all that's left are basically these Cougars that are used for tank training and sort of like as a militia force. Other than that, the actual formation is much like the M113. You've got a mortar platoon, the M125. You've still got the TOW anti-tank sections, but you don't have the TOW under armor. You've only got the old-fashioned M150, or you got the little Jeep-mounted Iltis TOWs.
Iltis TOW, yeah. Now these are these are doing things to me, man. I'm in for the old Mad Max Fury Road looking garbage.
Little Volkswagen, yeah.
It's a VW, isn't it? Yeah.
Basically, it's like the successor of the Kuba wagon, basically.
That's right. Yeah.
It's not amphibious, so we can't call it a shrimp wagon. So Duncan would be having stressed out from his non-British black zone wherever he is. But
so 40 points each.
40 points.
He's currently having his teeth filed down his fingernails and weeks, but I'm sure it's fine. It's just experimental questioning anyway. So
it's a little 2-point unit, but you only get 2 of them. And it's only the old ITO, so it's saying 8 tank 21. So
middle range 8 as well. So
the M150, you get those units for free, and obviously a unit of 3 is much more survivable than a 2-man unit.
Yeah.
But, it's cool. It's a cool little unit. I kind of like it for doing the whole Canadian front.
It's got some spice going on. I really like the Coyote because anti-tank 8 moving rate of 5.3 means you can stalk and you can do horrible things to BMPs. And as a NATO player, that's my thing.
As a US Marine Corps player, this is basically a LAV 25. It's the Canadian. It's basically a Canadian version of it.
Yeah.
They just took the little propellers off it, so it's not amphibious for some reason.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
It's weird because there's plenty of lakes in Canada. Do you think they want it?
So one of the things I did notice on the Canadian platoons, I think, without skipping too far ahead, if we're moving to the
airborne now,
regiment. Right. Okay. So things about airborne that make it good. It's got helicopters, and the helicopters are slicks. Therefore, you should buy this army. The second thing is dismounted 81mm mortars, because finally in Team Yankee, 81mm mortars are here and on foot. Good grief!
I thought they only ever existed in M113s. What's that?
Yeah.
They finally realise they realise there's a little pin they can pull to remove them. They're like, oh, they do come out. Oh wow, this is really good, eh?
Yeah. So this air landing platoon, they're really small. Like it's a seven stand platoon.
They're just far away.
But
Yes, far away.
there's 7 stands, but you can add
You
additional
can add
teams.
GPMGs, and you can also add an extra 60mm mortar as well. So
And
you can
replace the
start getting
card
up
good
to,
stuff with the Erics.
that's right. So you can really start getting up to those massive kind of whacking great big blocking forces. Although that said, they only have one really sizable anti-tank piece, which is that Charlie G or the Erics, which means if you're dealing with like mondo amounts of like big ploughing forces of T-72s or other T-series tanks, you're banking on chucking around a lot of M72 laws and stuff like that. Which I mean, that's my entire game strategy basically, because my dragons are already dead by that point.
Yeah, but put it this way: you're not running this formation by itself, because I don't think you could reach the points cost, because you can only ever have 3 of those airborne platoons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is a lot of if you're doing it properly, you're paying a lot of cash money for plastic helicopters that you are putting on the table and then instantly removing. Obviously, you can do that with card, but you're paying 20 quid for two tokens basically. Now, being a man who's paid £60 for lots of tokens, it starts racking up pretty quick, I think.
Yeah. So, like I say, formation, like I say, 2 platoons minimum, optional 3rd airborne platoon. So that's 3 big blobs of infantry. You then get the cool, like I say, like Mike was saying, dismounted mortars up to eight in the platoon, which is a very good bombardment.
Rerolling hits.
Serious bombardment, and like you're going to powderize infantry there.
Yeah. The second part of the weapon system is the dismounted 50 cal platoon.
Yep.
You get 8 50 cals in one platoon, each which is only has a rate of fire 3, but for like just ripping apart like light like BMP, like certainly not BMP 3, but BMP 1-2s have to be a little wary.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like I mean, Lord knows you put enough lead down range, and they're going to start running real quick. And that I was just thinking, side shots.
Have we reached a brand new point per pound award winner for quality? So how much is a box of Hueys? Is it 20 quid still?
I think it's about 25 quid. Yeah, 25 quid for 2, I think.
25, say £25 for 2.
Yeah.
So 2 boxes.
Bear in mind, I have 3 platoons, and I have
no. So 3 boxes.
It's about £21.60 at Firestorm apparently.
£21.60. All right. So 2 boxes gets you 4 helicopters. Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's what 40.
That's about 42 quid. Yeah.
£42, and you can add 1 Huey for every 2 50 cals for 1 point. So I think this might actually beat the Syrian Duncan Panzer Force from Fate of a Nation, in that it's £42 for 1 point.
I mean, man, I like slicks, but not that much. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
hilarious. It's going to be done. Someone's going to do it. Someone has to sit there.
And some will do. You can guarantee.
Yeah,
for the one unit that have always been the board. Yeah. So
yeah.
Rest of the formation is 3 recce patrols, which are just basically like a pair of the little Iltises, but armed with a Chimpy. And then up to 3 Titan tank sections, which again is 2 Iltises with a Ito. Which, all right, I wouldn't take it over an M130, but it's the only option. Then yes, it's probably definitely take as many of those tow jeeps as you can get.
Well,
knowing they're going to die quickly.
It's not don't they have? No, they don't have any. Oh no, there you go. The recce patrols have scout and spearhead.
Yeah.
Which being hit on 4, that's incredible. With the tit tat tactical of 10. Oh, hello, cornfield.
But annoyingly, the tow jeep doesn't have. Normally, sometimes their tow jeeps have scout, and these ones don't.
Well, they don't need to, because you take the recce jeeps with them. Because basically, you go, right, it's 3 points, and that gets me 2 scout jeeps and 2 tows. and they just use the bubble to drive around together.
And that's just
On the spearhead, I see what
Yeah, exactly. You spearhead to where you need to be and go, right, I'm now sat here. But the big point here is they're all in formation.
Yep.
So to
Yeah,
break the formation, you can have 4 Itless Jeeps hidden at the back of the board, and the formation will never break.
Mm-hmm.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Or if you really want, put them in reserves.
You can take 2, 4, 6. You can have 6
for the
Itless Jeeps. 6
for the ETC cheese is you take 2 Itless Recce Patrols for 2 points and put them in reserve and hope they never turn up.
I can think of nothing more horrifying.
You're a dirt box, Eddie. Turn it off.
ETC doing Team Yankee.
Oh, it'd
BTR
be
Congos all around.
It'd be like a friggin' 125 points on a 5x6 board or something stupid.
If your opponent is unable to deploy on the board, he is unable to push the button. I mean,
just a carrying call of, we thought we'd get more expensive tanks. Yeah, about that.
Yeah. I mean, the serious point here is this formation. I don't think you can actually make 100 points by yourself.
No,
because it's 8 points for the full whack airborne, 8, 9,
12,
10,
12 points for a full platoon.
12 points. So there's no way you're going to hit anywhere near, 100 points.
36,
even if you maxed out every box.
You're going to get to 50 basically at this point.
Yeah,
but then you get your spicy expensive
reserves
support.
Exactly that. Yeah. So you do 60 points worth of airborne if you're really going for it, and then 40 points worth of armoured reserves that turn up.
Right. Okay. So talking of armoured reserves, right? ADATs, Air Defence Platoon.
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
Oh, you've not played my Canadians, have you?
No.
Yeah. ADAT says hello.
6 ADATs for 15 points.
Yep.
It has 2 roles. So Hawk Direct Fire 3, Firepower 3 plus, guided AA. Or anti-tank, minimum range 16. Okay, no problem there. Anti-tank 24.
Yeah, you can cut through 100 mil of rolled homogeneous steel and hit that even if it's on an aircraft.
It's I just love the fact someone's like, we're going to make a supersonic air defense missile. Great. Could we also make it shoot a tank as well at the same time?
Well,
it'd be rude not to at this point, right?
This came up last year, wasn't it? When the was the triple tungsten dart thing that we've got?
Starstreak.
And they gave it to the Ukrainians. Like, can you shoot at tanks? I don't know. Let's try it. Bang! Oh yeah.
Oh, that works.
Turns out it flipped a BMP over.
I flick darts do anything. Yes.
Yeah. Turns out. Yeah.
I mean, they are crazy expensive. They get 6 for 15, but they are very. I mean, it's a good SAM system. Even if you ignore the anti-tank, it's a very good SAM system. Rate of fire 3, range 72, firepower 3.
The 3 plus is the bit that gets you. Yeah, that's what you need.
What's the footprint on them?
Decent armor. So
that's the key thing.
It's about size of it's slightly chubbier than an M113, so not huge.
So it's not like stupid Tunguska sort of size, which takes up half the board, does it?
Mm-hmm.
They're massive things.
Yeah. And you got the Canadians also backed up by the ubiquitous M109, though now you've got the option of the long barrel version, which is essential. You just basically get a little bit extra range, a little bit direct fire anti-tank. But if you're direct firing anti-tank and they're an M109, so it's gone seriously wrong.
Yeah, the enemy's right on top of you, basically.
I'm AT-15. Oh, that's nice.
Usual stuff for aircraft, which is three choices, 2 of which you should actually be looking at, and 1 of which you just go 20 points for 4 Warthogs. No, torpedoes and Royal Air Force Harriers are
half the cost.
Yum, and turn up on 3s. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's a 3-up save though.
I mean, so it's a 3-up save that you're actually going to have to work. So the Tornadoes are going to turn up, and they get a fairly guff aircraft save. The Warthogs are not going to turn up ever. So you can have all the top saves.
Disagree.
20 points.
I think with the A10, you only ever take a pair of them. You're just basically going around whacking out two Maverick shots a turn. And you've got the armor that if somehow you do stray within range of a SAM system, you can probably laugh it off.
There's some wishful thinking there.
Absolutely, yeah. So we ain't got cavalry pages.
How much of this stuff is metal resin?
So in terms of almost all the new Canadian vehicles are basically a resin, apart from the Coyote basically reuses a plastic lav kit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, I was really hoping there's going to be a new plastic Grizzly Cougar kit, but I think Battlefront are putting all their money into tanks now, into like the tanks. So if it's a tank kit, you'll definitely get a tank kit out of plastic. But APCs, they're not getting the love.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
But well, you got the toe under armor. It's not listed as a plastic kit. Basically, it's the plastic M113 with a new resin top plate and turret. And also, I hadn't noticed this until someone pointed out, got the model and put it on the thing. You see, it's got the auxiliary fuel tanks on the back as well, which I hope Battlefront sells a separate part, because most M113s by the late 80s, 90s had the fuel tanks on the back.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it'd be really cool if they actually sold those separately, so you could upgrade your M113s to have a little cool auxiliary tanks on. But yeah, so I mean, the Iltis kit basically does both the Recce version and the Jeep, but again, resin. There's a new airborne weapons group, so it adds the 50 cal. So it has 4 50 cals, 4 Jimpies, 4 mortars and 2 Jimpy teams. So you probably want to buy 2 of those, so then you get your max mortar, your max 50 cal, and you get some Jimpies to add into the infantry.
Yeah.
And the mechanized platoon has been redone now with the Eric's teams in as an option, but you can also direct set order the Eric's missiles as well.
Oh, it's going to be so expensive.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to lose them like I did the bloody West
Cargo
Germans.
stuffs. Yeah, I mean, that's Canadian. It's like you say, we talked at the start about how you have now the option of British and American and German support. So you're adding all kinds of weird, wonderful stuff.
I like that. I like that. That's kind of cool. It does, you get lots of cool, like, NATO bits that you can kind of pick and choose. When you start looking at stuff like Operation Cold Winter and things like that, and you've got everybody's there. It's like, okay, that's really cool. You get to do some cool things there. So yeah.
Right. So next up is a reason very much why Mike has stepped in for Duncan. Here's the French. So when I was trying to get Mike into Team Yankee, I think there's going to be 2 things that are going to do it. It's either going to be Huey Slicks with the Marines, or Marines, or their airborne, which obviously the Marines were the one that won out. Or it's going to be a French, because I know Mike's got a love affair for FAMAS rifles. So.
FAMAS and best gun.
It is a stunning piece of design engineering. The bugle, I love it. It's such a just everything about it. That bullpup design, the amazing left-right cartridge ejector switch. Yeah, the selector switch. The big whacking great big carry hand. Everything about the FAMAS is just
magnifique.
I love it. Magnifique. Yeah.
So in the last edition, French basically they didn't have the greatest tank. AMX-30 was not a good tank, but they did have but what most people did like were the infantry options, and also the little AMX-10 RC armoured car formation. Yes. They also had one of the best artillery pieces in NATO with their AMX ORF-1, which is basically auto-firing 155, and also the best thing ever, the Gazelle 20mm gunslinger helicopter, which just shreds Soviet SAM systems.
I'm so excited about this stuff. I'm so excited about this.
So with the new book, what they've done, we have basically 2 new formations. We have a new Recce formation, which we'll get onto in a minute, with little armor cars. But also, in keeping with what they've been doing most of version 2 books, we now have a 1990s tank in the form of the Leclerc. So you've gone from a 1950s AMX-30 to literally the cutting edge of NATO tank technology.
This is bleeding edge. Leclerc.
Skip a few, 99-100.
Yeah,
this is a hell of a thing.
So its armor is basically its front armor matches for Leopard 2 A5 with front armor 22. Its main gun not only has a higher anti-tank of 23, but the reason it's 23 is because it's got a 55 caliber. So basically an extra long barrel. 52 caliber. It's an AMX. Leopard 2A6 that has a 55. Either way, it's got a long barrel, which means it's getting that little smoothbore fin round up to super speeds.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's 120
mils, but it's longer, right?
Yeah. It's 52 caliber, so you times that by 52, and that's the length of the barrel.
Code switch for our Flames of War brethren, it's a pack 43, not a flak 88.
Correct.
Yes,
So,
that's the analogy. Yeah.
Good analogy, yeah.
Yeah, what's really cool? It's not you got that 23, but also that longer barrel means its range is 48 inches. It's it's outranging pretty much everything, including annoyingly the challenging, but that's got the record for the longest tank kill.
So it has advanced stabilizers, which means it can move and fire without penalty, right?
Yep. So you got tactical 14, but with no penalty. Yep.
Right. Laser rangefinder, which means you don't take the +1 for over 16.
Yeah.
Correct. So you're always hitting on 5s in cover or 4s, and that's against top quality troops, or 4s and 3s.
And then you're slicing through at 8 tank 23.
But
now,
as with all Excalibur like stuff, what I call Excalibur stuff, like it's the sword that cuts through absolutely anything. Man, them points.
I've just looked at the points.
Yeah. It is the most expensive tank in NATO now, I think. 19 points.
Oh my god!
So you if you want to do a 5, you want to do a legal force. Okay, it's 19 points for the Escadron Blindé HQ, so that's 19. And then you get 2 sets of 2 for 36 a pop.
Well, don't forget, thankfully, the second box. So you got to have at least one Leclerc platoon, but the second box can be the old 1950s AMX-30 in there. Just as
all I'm going to say to anybody who's taking one Leclerc and one AMX-30 Peloton Blindé, you're a coward. You're an absolute coward taking both of them.
Yeah.
So you're 72. 80.
When they dumped that 1500 brake horsepower engine in it. It's
91 points for 5 Leclercs. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep. I like when they make the barrel so long that on the model the barrel hangs over the rules.
It does. Yeah.
Literally, the Leclerc is like, bonjour, I am quite a big deal.
Also, it's pointing at the main problem you have with Leclerc, which is still its morale 5.
Morale 5 plus.
You're taking those 2 units of 2.
All right. I'm going to counterpoint this. I'm a County of London yeomanry player in World War II, right?
Yeah.
We always remount on 3+, yeah? And you disappear on a 5+, yeah?
Yeah.
I roll 5+s for breakfast,
This is true. I mean, reluctant is the new fearless, we said before, but yes.
5+ is the new fearless, And honestly, in Flames of War, if you want, in Team Yankee, if something does get through that, was it demolition rockets are like anti-tank 27? You're dying. Okay, you don't need that morale 5+. I'm lying to myself right now, but
yes.
as one of them disappears. Well, I mean, Lee's failed with Tigers that re-roll on a 2+ with a re-roll and just want 1.
I have indeed done that. Right. Yes.
Well, there we go. I think we've all.
Okay, it's a game of skill. It's a game of skill, boys.
Absolute game of skill. Absolute game of skill. Yeah, that's what we call friction.
So one last thing I love about the Leclerc is its coaxial gun. At this point, just satisfy yourself with a 7.62 machine gun. You put a 50 cal in as your coax.
I think one of the French here is the 12.7mm machine gun.
What do you know why that? It's the Royale. It's the Royale.
MG. It's a Royale
MG.
A Royale with BMG.
Do you know what they call a 50 caliber rods? A Royale.
A Royale with BMG.
Royale with tungsten.
Moving on to the NX30, it hasn't really been any change. I was curious if we're going to see the era version. Obviously, with the Soviet stuff, we've been seeing the era equipped versions of the T-64, T-72. And certainly going into the Gulf War, the French made an era package for the AMX-30 into the 91 Gulf War. And unfortunately, that has not appeared here. So it's just your AMX-30 is still very much rooted in the 1960s.
You could do
it's basically a poor man's Leopard.
Yeah, you can do a lot with it with Anti-Tank 19. You can do more than people think with Anti-Tank 19 as well.
Interesting, but
particularly
it has brutal
shots. Yeah,
it has brutal, and Leclerc loses brutal. It's obviously the high velocity gun.
Because it's just a big iron rod or tungsten rod, isn't it? It's firing.
Yeah, and it got heat round as well. The heat's not ideal.
Okay.
Yeah. what we did. So next one is AMX-10P, which is the infantry fighting vehicle.
Compagnie
change-
de chasseurs, the hunters. Good chicken.
So I got Michael. Michael do all the accents. But main change here, which had the Claire is now an option in the fourth box for the tanks. So we've got the option of the AMX-10P. Sorry, a fourth AMX-10P platoon, AMX 30 of Leclerc, and then in the actual AMX-10P platoon itself, we have two new options.
This is spicy.
So,
I like this.
Yeah, so you've still got the option of upgrading one of the LRAC 89s from Appalachian. You can now upgrade for other. So it says replace LRAC 89 tank teams with Eric's missile teams plus 1 point each. So presumably, you can upgrade one of the 89s to an Appalachian, which gives you your. If I'm pinned, I still got a shot anti-tank 21.
Ooh.
And then the other one you can upgrade then to the Eric's, and that gives you your. If I'm not pinned, I can now re-kill some anti-tank 24.
And then if you really want, you can add 2 Milan missiles as well.
Yeah, but not just Milan's. Also now Milan 2.
Milan 2.
Oh,
I mean, twice the cost.
Two times Milan 2. I thought I just drank enough rum. I was going cross-eyed again.
Mate.
Twice the cost.
Anti-tank 24.
Yeah. And thermal imaging as well. The French finally get the thermals on their Milans.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the FAMAS teams, right? So mainly because
let's go.
Right, so the FAMAS, absolutely. They've got the AC-58 anti-tank grenade, right? Which is shorter range than the law.
No, it's exactly as far range as it needs to be because that's defensive far range.
That's all it needs, mate. Yeah. It's that anti-tank 13, which just an even bounce higher. Now that obviously doesn't affect BMPs because you're cutting through BMPs anyway. Because if you're hitting them, you're just nailing them anyway. But it's the stuff like when you're doing massed T-55 assaults and stuff like that, with the 8,000 T-55s trundling towards you. You can belt those out. Everybody's got a FAMAS with an AC-58, so that's at least 5 shots of those because that's going to be better for you than the Milans because Milans have got a
min-range 8,
minimum range 8, and the Eric's is probably going to be pinned by that point, I reckon. But Appalachian is still really good. I really like Appalachian because that's it's like small or Charlie G, but anti-tank 21 again. You can really start kind of carving stuff open with that. I think.
Yeah, we saw that with the Finns in the last book.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, so the missile teams are nice. They might be a bit of a red herring.
Well, the Milan's in.
Anything with range, basically, because you're not going to be using it offensively. Because you're going to be sitting there going, I'm hit on 4s, I'm concealed 5s, I'm gone to ground, I'm 6s, and the folly of losing your gone to ground to combined Dushka fire.
Yeah, you just get cut to shreds.
Yeah. Whereas if you sit there, you are like you say, with those FAMAS grenade launchers, you're like, okay, assault me.
Yeah,
you see what happens.
I think this French army, you have to play it like an actual French army, which is you do the blocking force thing. You wait for them to get close, you fire, and then you withdraw and you maneuver, and then you're kind of hacking them down with the really, really big stuff.
That's good. I'm glad you clarified that. I thought you were going to build a gigantic fortress and wait for the Germans to land gliders on top of it.
I'm sure that'll work as well.
It's kind of a shame the Milan isn't actually its own discrete platoon here. So in this formation, it's only built into platoons. Right. The VAB platoon formation later, the actual Milan's a discrete platoon. Yeah, which, like I say, works a lot better then because all your anti-tanks firing without you're not worried about giving away position at that point. Now, one thing you could do, just as a counterpoint to your counterpoint, a counterpoint, if you will, is you could leave Milan
a touche, if you will.
You could leave the Milans mounted in the AMX-10s, and they can fire whilst on the AMX-10s.
Yeah, now that's really good.
Yeah. And that's a separate unit.
Yeah. So they could drive off with the Milans inside, and obviously leave the rest of the guys, the infantry, where they are. And then if you're firing away, then you're only giving away the position of the actual AMX-10s, which are probably there.
That's fine.
You don't even have to drive away.
I don't know. It could be hold down somewhere else. Exactly.
Well, it could just be right behind them because you're shooting the transport unit, so therefore you cannot spill your hits over onto the infantry.
Yeah, no, good shout.
What have you done to me, Team England? Oh.
Made him into a dirt box.
I remember when you were cool.
Oh, right. Okay. As we move on, this is doing things to me. Escadron de Cavalier. Right. Think of me like French procurement in the 1920s.
Massively corrupt.
Massively corrupt. Knee deep in corruption. And if it says the word Hotkiss or Panhard, I'm buying it, okay? And I want to put down 100 units right now because, my God, AMX-10 RC Peloton Panhard armoured car with a 105mm gun. I am weak at the knees.
So there's a part of me that knows that all of these vehicles are probably fitted with some form of like car horn.
They're really legal, yes.
Right? Because it's really useful to have for alerting people and getting sheep out of the way and things like that. If someone could send me an MP3 file of the car horn of AMX-10s, because I imagine it's quite comical, because they normally are like low budget, like meep, meep. Exactly. I will add it to the soundboard, and I just, you know,
the Bill Bailey French policeman. Attention!
I don't like their police siren because their police siren's like really comical. Me, 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 me.
Right,
so big change here is one of those times that when they said, "I'm not going to change anything, invalidate the cards."
Yeah.
Guess what? They changed something, invalidated the card.
What?
So the AMX-10RC has lost Spearhead. It still keeps Scout, but it loses Spearhead. And that's because what they've done now is added 4 new platoons, which is the VBL. Yes. So basically the idea here is the VBL, which is like a little Humvee, like Jeep style
I think you'll find team. It is a Halo Warthog.
It's literally a Halo Warthog. And something from Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah. I cannot express how much I want this force. Look at the force organization chart. It's like 2 AMX-10RC Peloton cavalry. Yeah. So that's big, thick Panhards with the 105 mils. Okay, so they're pretty cool. 105 mil gun, anti-tank 19, brutal, heat, laser rangefinder, smoke. Yes, please, sign me up. I would like lots of those, please. Okay, then you get 4 sets of reconnaissance in the VBL cavalry units. The Véhicule Blindé Léger, the Lancer, literally Lancer, right? These things, I am weak at the knees for.
They can do a drive-by Appalachian shot. Each of them can fire out as an Appalachian team.
Turn your Appalachian sideways and just do like a Lassie Days drive-by with them. Now shouting French profanities at your opponents whilst you zoom past them going "Oculé."
So I mean, these things have got front armor. They got armor. They got front armor 1 and side armor 0. So they can stop machine gun rounds fairly reliably.
Eddie already licking his chops at assault with that.
But they can assault. Absolutely, it's not great at it, but they can actually no, it's perfectly good at it. It's no worse than anything else. Yeah, counter attack 5.
Counter 5+ is the bit that gets you. But if they break off first, who cares?
Exactly. You can upgrade all the Appalachians in a platoon to be Erics. Now, I wouldn't do it with all of them, but I like the idea of 1 unit as an ambush unit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know
the 3 Erics missiles.
Do you know the best thing? Here's the best thing, right? So it's an armor 1, tactical 10, 4 up cross, road dash of 44 inches because it's a wheeled vehicle.
It's a wheeled vehicle they don't hate.
It's a wheeled vehicle that they don't hate, right? It's got an MG and it's got a missile system, so it's not even defenses and counterattack fire. It has scout, it has spearhead, it has thermal imaging. It's an amphibious Schwimmwagen, and it's still only 3 points.
It's amphibious.
It's still only 3 points.
It's also important to note this unit is free. Is a free strong unit. There's 2 VBL units in this book, and one's free strong, one's 2 strong. This is the free strong one. This is what I like.
So when I see this, sorry, very quickly, the only thing that I find even more humorous than the fact that it's a clown car formation of just murder is the fact that HQ is in a little truck.
Yep.
who his little truck has better side armor than the main combat reconnaissance trucks. It's front of 2 and side of 2, whereas the AMX-10s are front of 2, side of 1. But it's the idea that, some poor little AMX-10 gets bailed, and this guy pulls up in a truck and goes, "Get back in!"
Bonjour.
Okay. Command re-rolls from a truck.
Yeah.
Sort of large.
That's because it's got the baguettes in it. That's
right, man. Wait, I want one of those Citroen Wrigley tin vans.
Man, yes. So just bringing out the formations. Like I say, you've also got a FAB section, the infantry.
Infantry.
That basically is up to the second thing, but it's a nice little infantry between the round out that formation. It's a really solid formation.
Well. 9 stands, 7 from us with the anti-tank, and you've got LRACs, two LRACs in there as well. And I think you can add
a single Milan
team. Yep. Yeah, I mean, a single Milan is
that really goes to what Eddie's saying about earlier. A single Milan, you just always you never want to fire it, but
unless so the counterpoint to that is in the situation where there's no one within machine gun range, you could do something with the platoon if you really wanted to.
One of the things I noticed about this Escadron de l'Éclairage, there is a unit there. It's a Groupe d'Antichar, Milan, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Milan is 4 points for 3 VBLs with Milan, yeah? And there's also the Patrol de l'Éclairage de Cavalier, which is 3 points for 3 VBLs who are armed with Eric's missiles. The Eric's missile is the same as the Milan, and they both got no movement rate of fire. Is there? Am I missing something here, or is it just?
Right. Yeah. In this formation, it's basically you have one Milan platoon, and that Milan is basically giving you Overwatch because it's got the range 36. Mm-hmm. So that's the big difference between Milan and Eric's, it's the range.
Ah, yeah, got it. My apologies.
So you got a whole bunch. I'm going to say 9 platoons of these. Mike, to the French, VBL Patrol.
Groupe d'Antichar Milan or the Patrol de l'Éclairage. It's the Lancer, Léger.
Yeah. So this is that 2 strong unit I was talking about. So you get 2 of those little VBLs now. They still have the option of Eric's and Applas upgrade to Eric's. But you get a lot of them. There are 2 strong units. I hate 2 strong units, but you get like 9. You get 18, potentially up to 18 of these jeeps. Well, 20 got 2 in the HQ as well, which can also upgrade to Eric's. Again, I think you only ever upgrade 1 platoon to Eric's and just have it as an ambush unit.
I think this may very well be one of the biggest glass cannon armies you've ever seen. Just delivering the single most like horrific set of like thundering up, absolutely hammering them with anti-tank 24, and then just going, well, that's me done then.
I'm just curious how much it costs. They come in 4s. How much is the VBL patrol box?
I feel a little sick because that's 9 units, all with scout and spearhead.
This is definitely the Eddie unit.
Eddie, you got to do it, mate. Is this? Have you had too many chocolate eclairs? Sort of level of sick? Have you?
I would, but I would have to paint them all bright olive green, and there'd be 1 gunner in red armor and 1 gunner in blue armor, and it would just be a Halo Warthog list.
Now you said that, you've got to do it.
But the thing is, that's not even. So what? 2 points a platoon. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 9. So it's 18 points plus 8. It's 20 points for a formation. And then you go, 24 points if you want to add in some, 3 Milan 2s to it.
Yep.
And it's £13 for 4 of them.
Ooh.
So it's like £13 to do 2 of those boxes, basically.
That's really good.
Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
That's really good.
Not bad. That's worryingly not bad. Can we move on very quickly?
So that's 20. So 24 points for that, and then I buy 1 box of Leclerc's, which is the other 74 points.
You're 40 points.
No artillery though.
What do you need artillery for? You've got
artillery. We have an infinite amount of anti-tank. Shut up or get off the pot, Lee.
I mean,
get in, loser. We're driving to Moscow really fast with Eric's missiles.
If you take a real, I do mean really, really big hit of the hobby crack pipe, is when you remember that you're not limited to just one formation. So you say, right, that's 24 points.
Wait a minute, because in Team Yankee you sometimes are. Yes, you are. So in Team Yankee you can only have one of these formations. So if you go to the force diagram, you can see how the boxes stack. Remember, it's a thing they never did with Flames. I really wish they had, but Team Yankee does do it correctly.
Disappointment. Well, I mean, all right. Oh no, I've got to take an AMX-10 and have even more of them, because you take the AMX-10 formation. Yeah. Just that's 4 boxes of the things, but this time in squadrons of 3.
Right, so moving to the Recce infantry.
When you're doing infantry,
the VAB section. So basically, you have up to 4 platoons.
Can I try this one? Right, this is the VAB Compagnie d'Infanterie.
That's exactly spot on.
Is that right? Mike? Is that how it goes? I was in Paris last week, and on the metro stop, it was like Chateau Le Denis.
Chateau Denis?
Exactly. I was like, don't you mean Chateau Denis?
Chateau Denis? Who's Chateau Denis?
Who is Chateau Denis?
Who's
South London?
Who's that? What's that?
Yeah. So this is basically the French infantry, but support the actual Recce units. Very similar now, as Mike was saying earlier, 7 FAMAS, 2 LRACs. You get all the same options to upgrade those to be Apalas and Eric's missiles. You can have a single Milan added, which I would skip because this one has a Milan section.
Yeah.
With up to 8 Milan missiles in the platoon.
There you go.
Yeah. It can be Milan too.
This little Milan of mine.
Big.
I'm gonna let it shine.
To 8 Milan missiles.
With transports. Can they fire out the transports?
Yeah. They got Milan posts on, he says, saying that, so not so sure they have got Milan posts.
Milan mount, VAB transport. Yep.
They do have Milan mounts, yep. So they are. So they can, so half of them will fire from the transport. So you can have 4 of these dismounted on the objective, and the other 4 mounted on the Milan set on the actual vehicles, acting as a mobile.
Or you can put some of them in the VAB T20s with the 20mm gun, which is good for anti-helicopter as well. So, it's spicy, particularly doing lots of Heinz.
That's one of the changes you get in this platoon is now up to 2 of the VABs can be, let's say, the VAB T20.
Yeah.
There's also a little fire support platoon of 4 of those VAB T20s.
Yep.
Ooh.
Dirt cheap. Like Mike says, anti-helicopter, which makes it kind of useful as a secondary AA system.
I am declaring sabotage. How have these guys figured out to take 120mm mortars out on their own? That's cheating.
A little wheel carriage. It's awesome.
Wheel carriage, isn't it? That's a thick boy mortar as well, man. That is
120mm.
So this also appears in their force diagram as well. So you can have potentially 2 platoons, one in the formation and one in the actual force. And you can also upgrade it to have AMX-10Ps rather than just FABs as well.
Yeah.
So the infantry fighting vehicle. Other addition is that you get the option of Leclerc now in the tank box. So the tank box can be either AMX-30 or AMX-10RC or the Leclerc.
The sound of poof as your points just vanish. Oh, there we go.
What's the AMX-10P?
AMX-10P is the infantry fighting vehicle.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's not the RC is the
yeah.
So the RC is the
It's not thing. Those 2 vehicles share a lot of components. They share the same engine.
I see. One's got tracks.
So they actually are. One's track. It's a bit like CVRT versus CVRW.
Right, yeah, I get
they
you.
don't actually share much in the way.
I get you. Sorry, I was a little bit confused there. I was, that'd be interesting.
So the VAB infantry was always a fan favourite, and I think it stays the same. It gets better if anything.
That's dangerous for me.
So
this is a bad place for me to be in.
So you're going to get worse. So support units, you get the excellent VAB Mephisto.
Called Satan.
Yeah, and that's got Hot now has the Hot 2 as an option, which up boosts it from 23 to 24. Not a big change, but
it's called Mephisto. It's literally called Satan, and it fires Hot 2 missiles. I want this so much.
And someone pointed out to me the actual missile launchers face into the back, which isn't incorrect. I think it has got 360-degree traverse, but now I've seen it. I can't. Yep, yeah, because you can see it. That launcher, it raises up. It's designed so it can get up there. It's a really good little anti-tank system. It's just got better.
That means that's you can stay on to ground while shooting, right?
Correct.
It is hammerhead. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Oh, that's
that is four of those for 10 points. Man, you've got an ambush unit and a half there because that is just going to go.
That's a little crazy.
Things because that. Yeah. Whoa.
Eddie, you can add that to your that little formation. Just look at all the little cheeks. Don't have that as fire support.
And scout it into the side.
Spearhead it in. You got the M2 MRS. There's a French bought it because they didn't have a French system equivalent. So everyone bought into M270.
Yeah.
I want to like the M270.
I don't know, man. I played
Firepower 5 just makes it so much of a damp squib.
For the size of the rockets, it seems a little ridiculous.
Well, it's because it's the rocket. It wasn't until later in life it got a unitary warhead. Before then, it's a submachine dispenser. It's designed to deal with mass Soviet tank formations by shedding. The problem is you can only ever fire minets once in the game.
Yeah,
and the actual minets they're disruptive. But they're only tank free, which was a little underpowered for how they were in real life. So
yeah. I played against the Rockets the other day, and we were playing a game of whatever the fight and draw. I think it was fight and draw, and it was just one of those moments like Des just sat there and went like, "These are going to do nothing like to Soviet armor, so I'm just going to take them off first." And it was one of those moments like I think there's probably a niche for them, but we just got to kind of work out what that niche is.
The niche just Passage infantry.
Yeah. Playing Duncan's infantry, and they'll come in their own then.
You literally just go, right, I have 2 platoons of this, everything else is off the board, and I've got overlapping salvo templates. And don't forget, they count as 2 teams firing. So if you have the 8-point block of 3, that counts as 6, so you're re-rolling your misses.
That's a lot, yeah.
So next up is AMX Orf 1. So this is basically AMX. No, it gets even better because you got AMX 30. It's the same. It's a plastic kit. It's the same kit as AMX 30 tank kit.
Right.
Yeah. So you got the new French starter, limited edition starter, which is basically like it's 3 Leclercs, 3 AMX 30s, 3 of the AMX Orf 1s, an OP vehicle, and 2 of the Gazelles with the 20 mils.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, though, you don't build the 3 AMX 30s, AMX 30s. You build another 3 Orf 1s and have 2 3-gun batteries of Orf 1s.
Is this all plastic?
Yeah, it's all plastic.
Oh my god!
Because that hole is basically a standard AMX 30 hole, so the sprue builds both turrets.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
So you get a new French
one. That is a hell of a thing.
Yeah, so you get a new French starter, and you use that not as an army in its own right. You use that as all your support options. You then go buy a whole bunch of those Jeeps, and there's your army basically.
Yeah, man.
Autoloaders are just brilliant.
Especially against Warsaw Pact.
Just against anything.
I'm hitting you on 3s. Now I'm hitting you on 2s under the template.
Oh, I've got 5 of them, so I'm re-rolling misses, hitting you on 2s.
Watching yours and Mike's time of day, patreon.com shoot underscore and underscore scoot. go sign up now, hard push. You talked about that, and it's like this is a great kind of kit for kind of what's it called supplementing stuff. And I think you're right with that. Yeah. Auto-loaded plastic AMX artillery.
It's the 2 firepower, 84 as well in bombardment.
And it's auto-loaded as well, which means you get a bonus to hit. Is that right?
+1 to hit whatever's underneath it, which is just hideous, especially if you get any blue on blues. Oh, you're a veteran. Are you really?
This.
You've then got a whole bunch of anti-aircraft options. So you've got the AMX 13 autocannon, basically like a little mini ZSU. It's quite cool.
Yeah.
You've got the Roland. Yep, anti-tank. Now, this is quite interesting because it's got front armor 5, so it's actually quite hard to go and just kill it with machine gun fire like you can with some SAM systems.
Yeah.
The missile's so-so, rate of fire 3, firepower 4. It's okay. But that can be then backed up by the new edition, which is the Mistral, which is a manpad, and that gives you a further, basically almost exactly the same stats as a Roland.
Oh yeah.
Cheap.
But I think you can. No, you have to have a Roland. You have to have the Roland to have that.
Yeah, it's like the same as the Red Eye for
that's
the
like proper.
West Germans.
That's like big stack up, double up sort of anti-aircraft.
So if you're facing, it's cheap. Yeah, if you're facing like an if you're facing a Soviet leaf blower list, and it's going to be really handy.
I think this is the same. Is this the same principle as the West German Red Eyes in that they had extra crew to provide 24-hour tasking, but if World War III broke out, you're not going to be sleeping for the first 8 hours.
Precisely so. Yeah. And you'd probably be glowing after it anyway, so why bother, right? So someone was telling me on the next bit, the helicopters, that the Gazelle gunslinger's gone down. Just try and look at the old book to see what it was. So it used to be, it's still the same, 4 and 2. Now it's
a point each for something
it's still 4.
That is so lethal. It is so lethal.
18 and 16. Yeah, it hasn't changed. I don't know. Someone was telling me it's gone down, but it clearly hasn't. But like I say, you can now basically have one of these platoons and up to 2 platoons of the ones with hot. So you take 4. You take 2 and 2 with the hot, or hot 2, because you now take the heavier missile. And like I say, the hot didn't need upgrading. 23 was more than sufficient, but fine. 24, and then you take all 4 20mm. You just go around. He's got gunslinger. What gunslinger does?
I'm just reading that now, and I'm throwing up again in my mouth.
You can fire before the enemy reacts with SAM systems. So you have these guys going. You shred the enemy like Gophers or Shulkers. Then you fire the hot. Anything that survives.
Oh man! Do you have Gaskins driving down the highway? Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Also does the
eat it, Ivan.
Also annoys me because it does the gun right. In that, if it's static, it's got a better range, a better rate of fire. If you stay still, you've got a range of 20 and a rate of fire of 3. If you move, you've got a range 8 and a rate of fire 2.
Are you really bothering? Don't also forget that Gunslinger does let you gives you the hunter killer of being able to hide behind tall terrain as well.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good. God damn.
And remaining on the ground whilst moving.
The sounds of a French army approaching on the horizon for me. This is
I'm like second NATO list.
It's a brave person who takes a Gazelle with guns into combat, because having flown in one in
it's all glass.
There's nothing around you. It's like, there's a guy throwing a rock. Oh no.
The people who played BattleTech looked at that and went, yes, that looks like a heavy war mech.
Yes.
That looks like a very to sit in the front of.
And then, just because the French can't have anything that's disappointing, you then get the Mirage 5, which basically very much like the German Tornado and sort of stats.
Mirage, look at that.
Cluster bombs, 88.
Firepower
5 with 3 upscale.
Yeah.
So the whole thing there will be standoff distance as to whether or not you get them on the board in time to get the salvo template down.
Yeah, the enemy going to race towards you.
So I know people are very much advocates for the French leaf blower list, where you basically max out helicopters and Mirage 5s, and you've got the gunslingers shredding out their do the special enemy air defences, and then you just let rip with all the other systems. And if there's if you take all the SAM systems the first turn,
I want you to say all of that really slow to me, but put on a French accent for me, and I'm done.
Suppression of enemy air defences.
First, we check
Monsieur Everest. I fear you are forgetting the fact that you have all of these aircraft and all of these helicopters, but at the same time, you have on the board all of the bloody little Warthog jeeps that are hiding. So even if the helicopters do not get to do the job, the enemy they cannot take the objective because they are all these bloody little jeeps.
This is such a dangerous book to have showed me. I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Le petit Warthog, c'est bon, non?
bring me forth Napoleon the Fourth.
You say you
man.
would have the Arc de Triomphe, but would it be small to drive a jeep through? Or would it be big to fly the helicopter through? We do not know.
So again, I was hoping we see a plastic fab that would do their fab T20 and the Mephisto. We don't. It's still resin.
Yeah.
But the French benefit from a lot of plastics the first time round. Like say, AMX 30 does that and the artillery piece. You got the new Leclerc. You got the AMX 10P as a plastic kit. You got the Gazelle as a plastic kit, and it does 2 versions. It's
damn. Yeah.
I mean, I may or may not have 4 leftover Gazelles from my Iraqi box sets.
Oh no.
And then the Warthog Jeeps, they mainly follow the T-72, eh? Le beep. Le beep beep.
All too nice, frankly.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
okay.
That's a heck of a book. And then we reached the Dutch. I'm tapping out.
Well, we're sticking with the tricolor theme. We just turn on its side. It's,
Yeah.
So Dutch don't get much different. One new formation basically, and a few little detailed differences. Big thing on the force diagram you can see straight away is you've got a Leopard 2A5 formation coming in now. You've also got the best thing ever, up to 2 Apache platoons. Because they're Dutch were one of the earliest adopters of the Apache in the export market.
Yeah. That Hellfire, man, that's a hell of a helicopter and a hell of a missile. That's a hell of a missile.
So Leopard 2A5, like Leopard 2, is cheaper than its West German counterpart because it's only confident. But cheap as a relative thing.
Cheap.
It's still 16 points per tank. And like Duncan was saying, unfortunately Duncan can't make it tonight, but Duncan was saying that it doesn't fix the issue Dutch have. It's got better protection. I mean, it's fantastically protected, but it's still anti-tank 22. It doesn't actually increase the lethality. Unfortunately, the 2A6, which has the L55 main gun, which would be I imagine stats be very similar to what we've just seen with the Leclerc. You're still only firing the same 120, and yes, it's anti-tank 22, and that'll do. It eats T-72Ms for breakfast. But you're starting to see more and more
against those T80 shocks. Yeah,
you're either still struggling against T80s, or you still haven't got the mass to take on mass T62s.
Yeah.
But hey, it's probably the most only way you're ever going to field an L2A5 is with the Dutch, probably. So it's
I think the point being there is obviously for the Dutch is a black box platoon, so you can have your A5s in addition to another company.
And like the West Germans, they can have the second compulsory box be either more tanks or infantry. So you can have your HQ, a platoon of tanks, and a platoon of infantry, and that's a legal formation. So
you can have your platoon of infantry sitting there waiting and dying before the tanks turn up from reserves. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But also, you still got the Pratt, fantastically named anti-tank.
Beg your pardon.
Pratt. You still got the Purple.
I've got to say about the YPR 765 and stuff like that. Like, who designed this? Okay, who designed Johnny Five's roided up brother? Because this is not a good.
Isn't this a guy who just played way too much Metal Slug and then?
It's such a weird looking thing. Like who made this?
Well, it's the FMC Corporation were the ones who made it, and they were trying to capture the market for what's going to replace the M113. It lost the Bradley, which is probably saying how. But besides, it does really well in the export market. Like I say, if the Dutch use it, Belgians use it, as we'll see a bit later. The South Koreans and the Turks both use variants, but under license, the same sort of hull. I think Malaysia have it, but I think they buy the Korean one. So it appears a lot, actually, because ultimately, it's no worse than M113, and it's got better firepower, because generally it's got the turret ring to take an autocannon of some sort.
Yeah, so these things are front armor 3, side of 2.
Yeah.
25mm gun, 28-inch range, rate of fire 2, and you take 8. That's pretty tasty.
It's pretty comparable to an unarmored Bradley, albeit it hasn't got the toe shot.
Yeah.
The infantry are okay. You got 4 Jimpy teams, 3 Carl Gustav teams, 2 of them much maligned dragons. The big thing is now you can now upgrade a dragon to Dragon 2.
I'm
but
I'm a big
it
fan
gets
of
back to your
them.
point, Eddie, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you really want to be spending points to then not be hiding?
Yeah.
It's only 21. It's better. Be range 28, so the enemy's got to get close to you.
Yeah.
So I would probably save the points there, but then go to the Pratt and upgrade that to have the TOW 2 missile.
Yeah.
Because that's got hammerhead. You've got a big platoon of 4 of them. And you can take the TOW 2 to put out.
I didn't notice that had hammerhead. That's a really.
Well, it is the hammerhead mount system, isn't it?
It's the same as the M901, just on a different chassis. Yeah.
Wally!
It's like Wally and Johnny Five coming at you.
Another change to the formation is you now have the option of either the ahistorical self-propelled mortars or the historically correct dismounted mortars. Only problem is for the same points, and as we know in Team Yankee, self-propelled is generally better than dismounted. Because it's just get pinned. You can't pin a self-propelled mortar system. So so it's great they put us in because it's basically the same 120 as the French. That's why they put the model in now. And it's great they can do the historically force, which is again always nice in Team Yankee. You want to do a proper 1985 force.
Yeah,
but I suspect most people go for the cheaper option of the actual self-propelled 120. Cheaper pound-wise, because it's basically a standard M113 kit. Pertle, we all know this. It's basically the Gepard just going around killing everything you can see.
Yep. Yes,
it's a
please.
different radar.
Gepard is a lovely, lovely piece of kit.
Now, sadly, I was hoping was the Verkennings squadron, which is their M113 CMV. I was hoping the Leopard 2A5 was going to be an option for the tank boxes. So basically, this can have little platoons of 2. Unfortunately, you still only have the option of the Leopard 2 A4 and Leopard 1s. That'd probably be the most economical way to actually get Leopard 2 A5 into a force would be this way.
Yeah.
But it hasn't changed. You basically got lots of recce platoons and small 2-strong tank units. You got mortars. You got the little infantry platoon. Nice little formation. Not the strength of the Dutch. I think, tanks and the infantry are the better options. But
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Nice it's there.
And then now they've got Apaches in that support unit. 24 points and 4 Apaches does seem expensive, but those Apaches, man, like a 64-inch range Hellfire missile with tank 25.
Hit on 4s, 4 up save, and then they've got a pass of firepower.
Yeah, killer as well. They are an extraordinary weapons platform. I've always loved the Apache. I think it is served very, very well in the game. It's excellent.
Desert Strike has a lot to answer for.
Absolutely. We are all children of the Strike series. And, although I slipped and fell hard in love with Cobras and Super Cobras, I very much, I love a Super Cobra so much. I do love the Apache. I think it's such an excellent.
I think as Dutch play, you definitely take 2, and I'd be very tempted to have 2 and 2. Go for 2. Yeah. Use those 2 boxes and take two hunting pairs basically.
It doubles up your salvo shots. It survives the longevity.
Other new addition is again MLRS because, like I say, everyone bought this thing.
You get one, and you get an MLRS, and you get an MLRS.
And see above for our comments on that. So whether it has its strengths, it has its weaknesses.
My main weakness is the fact that I had a Micro Machines version that was painted in desert tricolour camo. So that's why they're going for my US force, and that'll be it. Job done.
There's a guy on the Facebook group who does all that. He uses the old Micro Machine miniatures.
He does.
They're basically, I think, equivalent to 8 mil or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe 10 mil. Maybe 10 mil. I think it is. And so he's been using. I recognised the other day the helicopters have those really thick rotors.
Yeah. I
thought they're Micro Machines. I really realised what he's been using.
He has so many of them.
It works.
Yeah,
it works.
It is always called little diorama photos.
Oh yes, yeah. He does the Fish and Chip Friday guy.
Yeah, and puts the sight reticles over and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah. Very strong jungle strike action going on there.
So, Mike, do you like Vegemite?
I like a Vegemite sandwich.
We're getting very much the Vegemite, the Team Yankee universe, the ANZACs, and Yeah, you can always start a good argument as to whether he should be in the game or not, but they're in the game. So
And some Kiwis.
whatever.
And the Kiwis have got a bigger presence now. They've got a whole formation to themselves.
Yeah, well, because
Get
in the 1980s they split, don't they? Because you've got the New Zealand Defence Force and the Australian something force. I can't remember what it is, but yeah. It's not
So basically,
that's the First World War. Sorry.
Yeah. So the background is basically as World War III kicks off, Australia and New Zealand send a expeditionary force to support Europe. We got at a bit where it takes them 6 months to actually get ship all the kit to it. But big change.
Is that the background?
That's the background. Yeah. So basically
I thought a Weatherspoons got accidentally bombed, and all the bar staff took up arms.
Yeah, that is it. All the backpackers break up the effing fouls they've been carrying around.
A hostile took an accidental hip strafing run, and that was it.
It just this massive hostile comes out, and all you can hear is "He was only 19, son." Like, really
no, that's not on.
Listen, mate,
You can't be having that.
Things are going to make me waltz, Matilda. And it's just the Scotland's invade or the Ashes. I don't.
That's not bloody.
The new hero card for Harold fucking Bishop. With his, rocking a Kimbo SLRs.
Yeah.
So
Deep Reserve Toady.
So big thing is, basically, like I say, the Scorpions are now being split out from the support box into their own formation. And there's two new formations for the cavalry, basically.
Yes.
One is the M113s and one for the LAV Trials unit, which we'll get into in a second. The British Allied support has been expanded to add in for Challenger and also the MLRS.
Yeah, of course. Everyone gets MLRS.
Yes.
You get one, and you get one.
But also, it's hidden away in the Allied support, annoyingly, but the Harrier box can now also be a Kiwi A4 Skyhawk.
Ooh. Yeah, Skyhawk.
We do love a Death Scooter. So it's
Yep. It looks super cool, and that is all it does.
Yes. So big thing.
It's got Mavericks, though. It's got. Ooh, hold on. Hello.
Stop skipping ahead, Mike.
Yep. Focus.
Yeah.
I can't focus.
So
bring me back to Ramsey Street.
So, first big change in the actual Leopard squadron. The second compulsory choice is now Leopard or M1A1 Abrams.
Ooh.
So in the real world, Australia eventually bought Abrams to replace the Leopards. In the Team Yankee universe, basically it's assumed they get given, which I think is them not trying to get away from the thing of the Australians acquiring some M1A1s.
Liberated.
Anyone who remembers World War II ANZACs will know the ability of the Australians and the Maori to basically find equipment.
Well, they weren't using it.
So they basically get a whole bunch of M1A1s. They don't get the DU silver bullets, so they're only anti-tank 22 rather than 23. But, anti-tank 22 is still a fairly significant jump for the Australians in terms of firepower.
Yeah.
You only get one platoon, but, as a little surprise, a Leopard formation, that's not a bad thing. Quite pricey, but this is the standard M1A1, so it's not the heavy armour, so they got for armour 19, so it makes it
still good,
Yeah. Like I say, the M1A1 is perfectly good. I always prefer the IP as being slightly cheaper. I think either you go M1 IP or you go M1A1 HC, but if that's the only option you got, it's a perfectly good one. Not much changing in the M113 formation, apart from there you have the option of Milan 2 as well as Milan. And then we get to the cavalry units. The cavalry units, basically, you got the LAV cavalry troop. Now, again, the Australians will eventually adopt the LAV in their army, but this is basically them acquiring some as an experimental unit. They're using it like a tank, although it just has to have scout and spearhead, and you have units of 4. And you can have 3 platoons of those. You have to have at least 2. You can have a Leopard or the M1A1 as a 4th box. So that's quite a little nice addition to that formation.
That's cool, yeah.
You got the M125 81mm mortar platoon, so you have up to 6 of those. So that's a re-rolling misses.
Mm.
You got the Milan 8 tank section, so again that's up to 4 Milan teams firing toe or toe 2. And then you've got the cavalry assault troop, which is a small infantry platoon.
Yeah.
But I say small, but can you look at it?
It's not.
4 M62s, 5 Calca stuffs.
Yeah, that is a spicy meatball, mate. That's
We're just going to sit here and we're going to dare you to come deal with us.
Listen, mate, we haven't given up since the Emu War. They got a chip on their shoulder.
The M113 version is basically the same sort of formation layout. In their platoons, you can have up to 5 vehicles rather than 4. And they're a mix of the 50 cal armed version and then M113 MRV, which is basically take the Vietnam concept of the M113 with Saladin turret, throw away the old Saladin turret, put a Scorpion turret on it instead.
That's such a good kit.
Yeah, so you got it doesn't suffer from the sneak and peek rule, so it can actually still move tactical 10 and fire.
Yeah,
I hate that rule and how it gets applied.
It's such a weird rule. It just kind of pops up. And why is this here and not on anything else? Yeah.
And but like I say, so why on that? If it's the same turret, why does it apply on a Scorpion but not here exactly? But in all that, because it gives you an 8 tank 14, heat, slow fire. And bizarrely not brutal. I could have sworn Scorpion had brutal. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm misremembering it.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's just firepower 2, which is
the other. It's the other one that's brutal, isn't it?
Yeah. For 76mm guns, at firepower 2 is pretty leery.
Yeah.
I don't know which I prefer. I think I prefer the M113 one. Labs are cool, and that little water cannon is great. But I think I like the sheer firepower you get from having 2 of these in each platoon, just firing shots out. But you got about every single possible combination of LRVs and MRVs you can have. They didn't want to seem apparently not give you a legitimate option. So
lots of toys there.
Yeah. Finally, formation the Scorpion Armour Squadron. Like I say, this is basically Kiwis. You can have up to 4 Scorpion troops, which are 4 Scorpions. Basically, a price as much the same as the British ones. Oddly, no scout. They get spearhead, but no scout. I think they're being used in a tank role rather than as a proper recce role.
Yeah, that's hardly a mainline tank, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. I say the problem is, it's nice they've done this, but the Aussie cavalry squadron is far better. Sorry.
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry, Battlefront, but the Australians ones are going better.
Scorpion armoured troop. They're only tactical 6. Is that the thing?
That's a sneak and peek rule. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can move 10 and fire a machine gun, or move 6 and fire the main gun.
Fire the 76mm.
Yeah. You then get Land Rovers with recoilless rifles, which is a nice little ambush unit.
Yeah, lovely.
Mm-hmm. You got their M113 mounted.
Does it break down all the time? Because we used to have an 88 Land Rover.
Well, that's why it works cross 4. So yeah,
broke down, mate.
One change is they basically replaced the red eye. Well, not replaced it. Supplant. The M113 can either be a red eyes, which are okay, or it can be the Saab RBS-70 Beam Rider missiles, which are a lot, basically far further range, firepower 4, and thermal as well.
That's a really.
So you can fire at night. So that's a big anti-aircraft boost.
Yeah.
And then finally we get to the A4s, which are, Vietnam holdovers, but yeah, Kiwis used them up until they got rid of their Air Force, basically. And like I say, packing a lot of options here. So I'm having dirt cheap, 4 of them for 6 points, with Mark 82, 500-pounders. So that's firepower 2, nice blast area.
Yep.
You got CRV-7s, which are basically supersonic rockets, and they mess things up nicely. Again, a salvo, firepower 4.
That's a hell of a...
That's it's a good harassment thing. Or you can spank out 3 points for each aircraft to give them Mavericks. And it's it's a lot of points. It's a hell of a shot.
Aircraft. Okay, so they're arriving on 3s though. They are arriving on 3s. So hold on. No, not strike aircraft. It just means they're a fast jet unit. Oh, right, okay. So it's
forward deployed is the one. Is you're thinking of.
So you can make them really expensive, and at that point,
I
don't know.
Well, basically, it turns
it
turns a 6-point unit into an 18-point unit. So it's 2 points cheaper than an A10 unit at that point.
Although you can take 2 Skyhawks for 6 points with Mavericks, and I think that is actually
9 points. It'll be 9 points for 2.
9 points. All right, yeah.
Because it's 3 points each aircraft. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Got it. Yep.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
I think you skip the Mavericks and just go all those nice barrage options.
Yeah. The £500 Mark 82s are spicy enough as they are.
Yeah, I don't think there's any new units apart from, like, say, adding the RBS 70s from their anti-aircraft option. Or it's reusing plastics or the existing Vietnam Skyhawk model.
Mm. And then it's time for some waffles.
Yeah. So, Eddie, you still there?
I am still here.
That's right. Sorry. You're flatlining. I wasn't sure.
I was flatlining. Sorry, I got distracted. I thought,
oh, guys, don't tell me he's dropped out sometime in the last 3 minutes.
No, I'm not slowly adding up French
things. Eddie, I'm also not doing this.
I've got 3 screens open. I've got one screen which is the book, one screen which is the Battlefront site, and one screen is my internet banking page to check my current overdraft limit is.
Opening my legs and having somebody kick me in the crotch just repeatedly.
Okay, just to round the book out, we get to the last one, which is the Belgians. Very much here to basically solve a hole, which is that Belgians should be really present. They were a major contributor to NORFAG, a whole division, which is, you can't really skip it.
No, it's a big deal, man.
Yeah, third time's a charm, right?
Yeah. This is what they're deploying in Germany, you see. If they did in Germany, they got all the Netherlands to fall back through. So
it's like when I do my World War I talks and we have one child stand up and be Belgium, and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's like, that's all right, man. You're going to dine out on this for the next 100 years and the next invasion as well. But today, my friend, we are going to talk about the Congo. And all the teachers are throwing their heads back laughing like, listen, son, you got a lot wrong with you.
You're wronging, yes. So Belgians are very much like the Dutch in their units. There's a lot of repetition. The big difference is they basically get British Allied support rather than just being West German support.
So, without being a stick in the mud, if this was version 3, what you would have is 2 little shields above the points costs. One being a Dutch shield and one being a Belgian shield. Is what I can see with this. I don't see the need for another 6 pages of stuff that we've seen all before, basically.
Yeah, I thought you're absolutely right. In like saying the version 3 Flames of War, you just have those different for different shields, and they would tell you what units apply to which thing and that kind of thing. But in
this counts as.
Unfortunately, the new one you have to basically reprint everything, which is because the Leopard is 3 Leopards for 9 points, which is a fairly typical Leopard points. The stats are very typical. Major difference is you have Scorpions and Scimitars basically in the Belgian force versus little M113.5s. The infantry is where you see the biggest difference. It's using the same vehicle, albeit a Belgian version that has slightly different suspension because Belgian. It's rocking. So me and Eddie will know what this is from the Fate of a Nation. The blinder side, which is basically a super bazooka.
Oh my gosh!
Everything in Fate of a Nation has a blinder side, has a blinder side.
Yep.
And also, I was looking, what the hell? It's like they're still rocking blinder sides in the 1980s.
Oh my gosh!
But thankfully, they did start replacing Appalachian, and that is an option here. So definitely spend that point on upgrade to an Appalachian every chance you get.
Poor blinder sides.
The blinder sides just go, I'm so tired.
I'm tired, boss. I'm tired, boss.
You go from anti-tank 14 range 8 to anti-tank 21 range 16. It's a good point to spend.
Yeah.
So the Belgians basically have, unlike a lot of people who tend to have one vehicle type for their transports, the Belgians mixed in platoons with the AFI, the infantry fighting vehicle version, and platoons with the APC version, which is basically almost like an M113 with a 50 cal turret. Someone was telling me that actually it went further than that, and actually the platoons mixed in both times. They haven't done that here, but platoons were 2 infantry fighter vehicles and 2 50 cal ones.
Can we just take a moment to remember all the 1980s poor Belgian quartermasters who had to supply chain that nonsense?
Yeah. Thankfully, a common
Belgian.
hole, but yes.
all I have to say is, suck it up, Belgian. You know, you had the chance.
Oddly, there's not much points different. The actual infantry component's the same. So yeah, IFV version's 8 points, and their M113 or AFI VB50 version is 7 points. Mainly because the 50 cal is only slightly, it's basically got the same firepower as a 20mm, it's just got less anti-tank. So I'm guessing, armor's the same, that kind of stuff. It's, all there. You can add a Milan team, but again, only a single Milan team. But you can have a Milan platoon. I think, again, that's a better option. It's got Milan 2 as an option. Annoyingly, it's a kind of shame, the box is either Milan or the really cool but really old-fashioned Cannon Jagdpanzer, which is a 90mm armed little baby stug.
You want to talk about things that are saying, I'm tired, boss.
I'm going to slap
That is
Panzer.
Yeah. That's just like, why is this the same box? I'd love to have both of them, but there's no way I'm going to choose that over Milan 2s.
This is the S-Tank you have at home, right?
Yeah. We have S-Tank at home. Yeah. I like the Germans. They haven't taken the gun out and replaced it with a missile system and make a Jaguar 2. And you've got a mortar. It's a tiny little formation. And you can have the Leopard in on the third box. Milan 2s all around Appalachian. It's a fairly strong formation, probably stronger than the Dutch one in some ways. And the last formation for them is, like say, the Recce Squadron. Again, a mix of scimitars and scorpions. It annoys me that a skill 4+, you get paid exactly the same points as the British ones, which are skill 3+.
Uh-huh.
Also, the first time I looked at it, I thought they spelled troop wrong. I'm guessing that's how they spelled troop in
Troop.
Flemish, was it?
Flemish, yeah.
Yeah. You've got a striker. The striker is a point cheaper than the British equivalent. And it has that nice big swing fire missile. Swing fire means it's a bit like Hammerhead. You stay on the ground when you fire, which is always handy. Little Spartan infantry troop. It's there. It's quite a small little thing.
Congratulations as well on for turning up.
Yeah, I must admit, in the British one, I generally skip over it and just buy a black box infantry formation. It's generally better.
Yeah.
And support is all very standard. You've got the M109s because M109s are with everything.
No long barrels, though.
Yeah, they have had long barrel by default, yeah.
Oh, they're long barrel by the short barrels then. Oh, okay.
It's having an option now. You got Mirage 5s, this time carrying BL755s, but the stats are pretty much the same as the French ones.
Yeah, it's a good piece.
And then you've got the Gepard, as in the German version, rather than the Dutch Pertel. But obviously stats are the same.
3 Gepards for 6 points is yummy. That is
the big problem you've got is that's your only AA in the force, unless you buy. This is kind of problem. If you
no red eye.
Well, that's it. If you want any more AA, you've got to go to the West German Allied support because then you get the Roland, and then obviously you also get the advantage of having the PAH helicopter as well. The British box is nice, but for the Challenger, but you don't really need more infantry. You got loads of infantry, and it's your best selling point in the army. And the Lynx with only carrying the ITO missiles, just a lot weaker than the PAR. So it's kind of the British. It's kind of like, unless you really want the Challengers, you really want to go West German support.
It's there for completeness, but not for performance. Yeah,
well, again, you can probably. I mean, I've worked out a list that basically has the Challengers a one-drop reserve. It does work as an option, but it's almost like I'm only here for just the Challenger, and everything else is.
You can't have Tintin and Captain Haddock. I'm not interested. Simple as that.
A new addition really for the Belgians is an infantry platoon blister, which has Milans and the blinder size and all that kind of stuff in there.
Blistering blinder sides, Tintin. Blistering blinder
sides. And before we get to the scenarios, last little bit is NATO missile upgrades, which has been causing lots of fun on the
yes,
Facebook.
Please.
Basically, it lets you add Milan 2 and Dragon 2 into existing West German, British, and American forces.
And Hot 2.
So, is Hot 2 in there? Oh, yeah, and Hot 2, yes.
Hot 2, West Germans, yeah.
So, Mike's Marines get even more annoying because the actual M47 can do something rather than just being sitting there for morale.
My M47s do a lot of things. They shoot down helicopters.
Like, it's just small teams. Just small teams of buggers for that. Unguided rockets taking down Hind helicopters.
Hit fire, Second Amendment.
I mean, it's diddly, but it's a whole lot of diddly.
A whole lot of diddly, brother.
It becomes an issue.
So generally, all these new missiles, effectively, it's like an extra point per team or per two teams, depending which one you're looking at. There's people saying this is a death knell of tanks. It basically makes, it basically kills off heavy tanks. All we're ever going to see is medium tanks. But
usual recreational outrage.
Yeah.
Usual
points add up quickly.
Yeah.
Looking at the scenarios, these are the same as the version 1 book.
We should really play those sometime.
We really should, one of these days, yes.
So, having done scenarios out of the book, they are pretty cool. I do really enjoy them. Although they are quite busy on the tables sometimes. They do have quite a lot of stuff going on what's the 6x4 table, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But I do. It is one of those like all the ones with the scenarios that you're playing stuff from a Orbat. Is that you've got to have all that gear basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying we don't have all that gear because we're all terrible plastic junkies, but it's quite they're cool. They're cool. Good fun to play.
I think the main issue I always had with it is it seems to keep calling it BTR infantry, and I don't have any BTRs. I need to sort that out for my Soviets, so I can actually start doing the Soviet side of things.
Yeah.
They're cool scenarios. I read from a few times. Annoyingly, it shows Leclerc on the picture, but the actual things haven't been changed. It's all the same vehicles it was from the last book.
That's annoying, isn't it?
So another new kit. Oh, that's not true. So they changed one thing. The toe under armour is on the Canadian instead of the other toe. That's it. I think all the others are just...
Because the French one is 74 points, and all them tanks would be 4 tanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wouldn't be a cool scenario. I just have 4 tanks taking on everything.
We've shot 8 tanks. Cool. They're on the objective. Oh, well, excellent. Well done.
Yeah. That is the new NATO book. I think I like it. Changes. The changes generally add something to the armies they bring in for.
Yeah, it is
excellent.
It's an easy way to breathe a bit more life into the formations in the game, really, isn't it?
I think so. I think Team Yankee's got a lot going for it. I know it gets its detractors and stuff like that. People, it's car park wars and stuff like that. Play less points on a bigger table, Theo. I don't think it's that.
We've been saying that for years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but people still insist on playing 120 points on a 4x4.
On a 6 foot square.
Yep. Absolutely absurd. Why does this game look like a car park? Well, I think it's a good book. I really like the French, man. That's a dangerous set of books there.
Are we going to have to liaise to make sure we don't overlap? But I have my little...
I don't care if we overlap, mate. We're still buying them. Because you and I will just buy all. That's the problem.
Traditionally, we follow up the book review episode with the episode where we actually build some lists. And I already know Eddie's one, especially could be his shopping list.
Mine is just going to be
my receipt.
L6 nonsense turned into Team Yankee. Oh, murder turtles.
They're quite vicious murder turtles because they're packing anti-tank missiles.
That's the point, yeah. That is the definition of a murder turtle. It can hurt most things, assault most things, and there's hundreds of them, and normally they've got something ridiculous like Scout or Spearhead. Oh, look, they've got both.
I'm gonna get a box of the infantry for sure, paint them up, and then go from there, because that's big infantry player. I think that's the way to do it. Also from us.
It's a shame. Well, one thing I was hoping we might see for the French was actually having the French airborne forces in Pumas coming in. But,
that would have been cool.
They seem to have skipped past. It's already got the most formations out of any forces in the book, probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Mind you, the Canadians are really caught up with this book.
Oh, I mean, to be honest, that's the more realistic thing is get my Canadians on the table. Finally.
Yeah, but we know how you work, Eddie. It's new shiny things. Therefore, new shiny things will happen.
We'll see. I had to do a grown-up purchase of a sofa, and I sit there and look and go, that's a lot of toy soldiers that I'm sitting on. I could have just sat on my hobby stash.
So I'm currently only doing refurb stuff at the moment. So if I do get a French army, it will be 2024. I think that's That's what I'll save it as. It's just 2024, and then just absolutely go
See what happens.
wild.
New year, new army.
Yeah.
Vive the revolution.
New year, new me.
See, I know I poo-poo the Australians, but I keep look. I do like the look of their M1A1 Australian camo.
You just fancy a challenge, that's all.
I do fancy a challenge. It's got Land Rovers in. That's always fun. I do like. The thing that attracts me is that little is the actual cavalry troop with the M113s with the little scorpion turrets and stuff like that.
I think you should do an Australian army based upon the aligning closer to reality, in that all the kit has been liberated, quote unquote. So yes, they're Land Rovers, but they're RAF airfield yellow Land Rovers that have been liberated and cut down and had a recoilless rifle just welded on top.
And the Abrams are very much American Abrams, and so an American tricolour scheme. Yeah,
but with a big kangaroo painted on the side
of it. Oh man, we say it like that, it just sounds like cool.
And just do it as a painting challenge, and then maybe it'll see the table. But
it's tempting.
The crates of Fosters on the roof. They'll be using it as ablative armour because they can't drink it because it's terrible.
Because it's absolute bin. What have you got, Castle, mate?
Yeah. So the next real question is, what's going to be next for Team Yankee now? Because obviously this fills out this year.
True.
So my mind, there's a 1/1 book that hasn't been touched yet, which is Oil Wars. It'd be interesting to see if we get a redo of Oil Wars in the near future.
Basage are half the price.
Duncan cries.
Duncan has to pay even more of them.
Yeah, Duncan has to pay even more of them.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Chinese.
The whole Pacific. Well, make the Australians relevant then as well.
Yeah.
Or Italy. Give me Italy.
The Southern Front, yeah.
Do it.
It's Italy, Greece and Turkey versus Bulgaria.
Well, actually, that said, I mean, the Italians aren't going to have a massively different... They're going to have different infantry, but like they're not going to have... They're still running Leopards and stuff like that.
Well, they are, but given Battlefront's habit of putting in a 90s tank, you have got the Ariete.
Yep. Ariete.
Which is basically their sort of like 90s fourth gen tank, third gen tank.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise it's just like, say, Leopards. I think they had M48 A5s as well.
Yeah.
So it's stuff you could do with them. Certainly, like you say.
Yum.
Yeah. Cool. Right, should we do events?
Yeah. 11th to 12th of November is Warfare Reading at Farnborough. Late War, 171 points. Very excited for that.
I was excited.
I know. Work sucks. I know. 2nd and 3rd of December is A World in Flames 2. Flames of War, Late War at Tabletop Republic, High Wycombe. 171 points again. Late War. 2nd and 3rd of December, same weekend, is the Iberian Tournament. Flames of War, Late War version 4 in Madrid, España. We have the Icelandic Nationals 2024. Operation Polar Bear 7 in Reykjavik, February 17th. I think, do have a look if you want to go, but I think tickets for that have actually already sold out.
They have, yeah. We were talking about going, and also
we were talking about going.
Sold out, yeah.
And Mark was talking about going, and then all the tickets went. And then the 8th and 9th of June 2024 is the Bar Bash 80th D-Day Patreon event.
So if you're a Patreon for the podcast, then tickets will be going there first. And I don't know how many tickets we're going to do at the moment, but we're looking at 24 foot of beach tables. We're looking at I've currently got the stuff together now, based up really, and 1 million tons of ruins being printed for the French Commando action on the first day, D-Day, so which is in.
Are you doing the historically accurate version, or is it the longest day version?
The longest day version, obviously.
So I want a casino with a pack 40 in the bottom.
We've got it. That's going to be there. And the guys from Frontline Terrain are printing the 82nd Airborne, action, which is going to be totally bananas. It looks bananas. Hopefully they'll be bringing down a whole product as well. Yeah, Saint Pierre Église. Yeah, Saint Pierre Église.
Sent mehr Engli.
Yeah, I think hopefully they're going to be bringing a whole pile of product as well to say, like something out of Narcos, that we can sit there and rub it into our teeth and go, it's good.
Yeah, you can tell this one's great. It's the good stuff.
This resin's clean. So it's going to be excellent. There'll be food and all kinds of stuff, and hopefully we'll get lots of our members from overseas. I know some of the Americans and the Canadians.
Breaking Bad cover save version.
But yeah, I think some of the European guys are coming over as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed. And we're putting together a big game day pack for it as well, which kind of tells you where to go, what to do, stuff to go see, all this kind of stuff. And hopefully on the 6th of June, just before it, if people are over, we're going to see if we can do a trip down to Portsmouth down there, because the celebrations down there should be quite excellent.
Nice.
Rather than even attempting and ordaining to go to France, because that would be stupid. And
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Shall we shoot and scoot then?
Yeah. So what we're scooting as? We've got a whole variety of
Section de chasseur.
Yeah,
That's a skill 3+.
Skill 3+.
Oh, we're going to fail.
No, we're 4. We passed.
Yeah. En avant. En avant, smash.
The Armored Trade Recommend podcast you've been listening to is Shoot and Scoot, the Flames of War podcast, and the team of Breakthrough Assault.co.uk. Supported by support from Better for Hobbies, Dice of War, Frontline Terrain, The Unstoppable Warthog Formation, and Duncan's Rendition.
He is currently knee deep in all kinds of international law.
I told you, I'm Duncan Gosling. Say it again. I'm Duncan Gosling.
So, Mr. Gosling, can you explain this purchase of Iranian tanks on your PayPal?
15mm. Yes, we understand they're 15mm caliber. No, they're only 15mm.
Pretty sure you can buy Bassage uniforms. Anyway, right. They're pretty small though. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Action.
So
Duncan.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I was going to ask a question. Sorry,
I thought you asked the question. I thought, sorry, that's me, my misunderstanding. Carry on.
The hilarious part there was I was going to sabotage it anyway, just to be a dick, because I'm the one else to edit it.
So you were going to sabotage it, but you didn't need to because we're idiots. No, I'm idiots.
Exactly that.
I'm idiots.
I love it. I
I might have misunderstood what was in. So I'm going to ask the question again.
Yes,
yes,
I'm going to shut
please
up.
do.
Yeah.